there's just something about doing podcasts that's very like, you learn so much about people in a way where like you don't, I'd never learned this information otherwise, you know, and through talking to a lot of people that you do podcasts with, I feel like you pick up a lot of stuff that like you can't Google that. You know?
Yeah, I know.
You can't, you know, and you meet these crazy people. I mean, just the other week, we had the biggest MDMA trafficker in American history come on, and he came and he explained all the like dynamics of the MDMA trade and like trafficking and all that stuff. And it's just like, that's insane. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
So fascinating to hear about how this guy like really treats it as like this business and his brain behind it. Like, oh, I see why you're the biggest now.
Yeah, I saw the clips. So
yeah. It's a fascinating episode. That shit. Oh, we are rolling. Okay, thank God. I thought we forgot for a second. Either way, I did that a few weeks ago. I did that 30 minutes in. I was doing an interview and I realized I wasn't rolling yet. And I was like, thank God you called that, because if not, we would have had a bad day. It was a 3-hour episode. So. Thank God. But yeah, podcasting's awesome. It's fun. You know, it's just something special about the conversation.
I have a theory behind it.
Let's hear it.
I think a part of it is because it allows you and your guests to, in a way, bare their soul. And it's much deeper than any other platform that we use, any other type of platform.
Oh, this is deep.
Like Instagram and that kind of shit. You get like little glimpses, or we're just entertaining. It's like, you know, the Court Jester, which is a lot of fun. It really is. It's fun.
It is a good time.
But if you actually want to deeply connect with a human being, I think through like technology, I believe podcast is the best way. I can't think of something that's better than that.
Yeah.
Because even live stream, it isn't the same. It isn't the same.
It's the most personal form of content, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You really learn the most about anyone through a podcast, you know, because in this kind of format, it doesn't feel like a news interview. It doesn't feel like professional or anything. I mean, we're just sitting down, you know, and chatting, and there happens to be a camera capturing all of it, you know? So it's a great form. What a time to be alive, you know? What a time to be here. I wonder who the first ever podcast was. That guy's an innovator. We owe that guy one.
Yeah, we can Google it.
Ask
ChatGPT, it'll tell us.
You know what? We can Google it. Let's look it up right now.
Who was the first podcaster?
What was the first podcast ever? Radio Open Source by Christopher Linden was the first in 2003, but the term podcast hadn't been thought of at that point. The first podcast, in quotes, was the Daily Source Code by Adam Curry in the following year. I mean, damn, we're late to the game.
Yeah, but also legends have been forgotten.
True. Yeah, I'm not familiar with these. But yo, shout out Christopher Linden. Shout out Adam Curry, man. I owe you guys a joint, I guess. And ladies and gentlemen, all you watching, I owe you a thanks for tuning in, because we're 35 episodes deep on the Gobcast, and we are here today with a very special episode. I have brought a guest that I have been excited to bring in for quite a while. And I've brought someone that also, I don't know if I've told you this, but when I first started making videos, you were one of the first people where I sent you one of my videos and you responded. I remember it was years and years ago, like 2019 and maybe, I made a video where I had bought one of the Raw Challenge cones with my homies, and on 420, we all threw in for like 3 ounces of weed and just stuffed it. And I made a video about it, and I sent it to you. And I remember you watched it, and you responded to me, and I was so high. I showed all my homies. I was so excited. I was like, yo, dude, you guys know like Raw Papers? The guy who makes those fucking saw the video. And
yeah, challenge cones are literally a challenge, and there's special ways to pack it and fill it all stuff. And
you
know how I am.
Hours to do it.
Yeah.
We were sitting there. It was like an operating table. We're all chairs pulled up to the table in my friend's garage.
Yeah, 3 guys on grinding. Come on, guys, go.
We literally had it like those big salad bowls, just with weed ground up, like just dump it in there when you're done and keep going. You know? But you were one of the first people that actually responded to me, because I used to shoot out 1 million DMs to random people, you know? So for me, I'm really excited to have you on, because it's almost a full circle moment. Yeah. So I'm hyped to have you on, and I really appreciate you. And for those of you guys who still haven't caught on to who I'm talking to, this is Josh Kesselman, the founder and CEO of Raw Papers. All you guys out there who smoked a joint before, there's a very, very good chance that you smoked one of this guy's joints. Josh, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. I love being here.
Man. It's a pleasure to finally meet, too. You know, we have some mutual friends. You even talk about how you know Yola, and you've known him for a while.
long time, yeah.
How long have you known him?
I think 2012, I think.
Oh, damn.
Maybe 14.
You guys go back.
Yeah.
Nice. How'd you guys meet?
Through social. He posted something that made me, sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
he posted something that made me laugh so hard that
Yep.
it was one of those moments where you're like, oh, dude, I got to stop laughing. I'm going to pee my pants for real.
Yep.
And I think it was one of his things was in front of his bitchin' fucking old Monte Carlo. He did a Grand Theft Auto recreate. Or he takes a big hit of a joint. And he starts coughing and poof, falls down backwards. Wasted. You know? Yep. And it was chilling. I'm just like, I just played it. So I was just laughing so fucking hard. And it was things like that. Once he started making me laugh, and I was like, click. Dude, we got to work together. You're making me laugh too hard.
Hang out.
I know.
We got to figure this out. So I've got a lot to ask you about today. I want to ask you about a lot more than just Raw. You know,
Okay.
I want to hear about what kind of makes you who you are as well, what your upbringing was like.
Yeah.
I did a lot of research before this, though.
Oh, that's scary.
You know, I watched a lot of your interviews. So some of my questions, also to help you guys understand, are coming from the perspective of someone that knows some of your background.
Okay.
You know, from a basic level. You know, someone that has gone on Wikipedia and looked you up.
Yeah.
You know, or I mean, Raw Papers has a pretty thorough Wikipedia page.
Oh, cool.
You know? You actually
It's not run by me, so I'm kind of scared of what it says.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it's good things.
Good.
It's good things. It's complimentary. But we also have fan questions at the very end. I
Awesome.
post a tweet whenever I have a guest on asking the viewers for questions. And yours was also one of the most responded to that we've ever gotten. And I got some incredible questions. The stoners all want to know everything. So we'll get to those at the end. But before we get any further into this, you're not from over here. You're from the other side of the country.
Yeah, I was born in New York City. Raised on a combination of New York City and Long Island, and then went to University of Florida in Gainesville. And while I was still in school there trying to get my degree, I opened up my first little head shop.
Florida's very different from New York.
It was very
quite
different.
the transition.
But New York was kicking my ass. I had to leave. I was going to get in a lot of trouble there. I was already getting in a lot of trouble. It was time to go. So I went down to Florida when there was a lot more opportunity there. The stuff I did in Gainesville, I never could have done that in New York. Dude, my rent, I have to be careful. I'm going to read my disclaimer.
Okay.
Because the thing is, dude, it's me. We're talking about facts from 1993. Of course I'm going to get something kind of wrong.
Let's hear the disclaimer.
Okay, here's my disclaimer, guys. Are you ready? Everything I'm about to say is based on my own personal experiences and opinion. In some cases, on legend. I might get some things wrong, and such is life. If I say something is the best, that means it's the best for me, not necessarily the best for you, because we are all individuals with more synapses in our brain than there are stars in the galaxy.
Yep.
We are all incredibly unique and all incredibly individuals, which is one of the reasons I have to create so many ridiculous products and I have so much fun doing it.
Yep.
But yeah, the podcast, I probably got some things wrong, and such is life.
It's the way it goes, you
Yeah.
know? Nobody's perfect. Can't get everything right. It's the way it goes. But I like that disclaimer.
Yeah, so in Gainesville, Florida, because I'm going to get one little fact wrong. I have some giant person suing me,
Yep.
being like, "You lied, you're a liar, aren't you?" I'm like, "No,
It's
I
the
don't
way
wanna
it goes in business,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
It's tough.
So that's why I got to be careful nowadays. It was more fun before we got like this. It really was, but this is still a lot of fun. So in
Do you
Gainesville,
think... Oh, sorry to interrupt. Do you think legalization brought on a lot of this, like, kind of legal, you know...
yeah, it's
disclaimers
but it isn't just legalization. It's across the board. I see it in other industries. I've met many different people over like this great lifetime, and I meet people that have been very successful in things like even shoes. Right? And then they'll tell me the same story. If they build from the ground up, from nothing, build up a successful shoe brand, well, of course, yes. Large companies then try to buy them. When they say no, those companies sue them. Those companies make products that happen to look a lot like their product. Those companies sue them, doing everything they can to crush them and hold them down.
Drown them in litigation.
Right, drown them in litigation. If you and I ran a multi-billion-dollar shoe company, and then him, with his king's hat on over there, launches a shoe that is so innovative that it's taking us out, and we'd have to change our processes and our manufacturing and all this stuff. And now you and I are different than the way we are now. In fact, we don't even wear sneakers anymore, dude. We think we're so hoity that we don't even wear that stuff. We wear fancy, some other kind of shoe, so we don't even love our own product. But you know what we do love? Making money on the golf course. You know what I mean?
That's boring.
Right. So now you and I are these CEO types with the suit, and I don't know, like I picture like Elmer Fudd. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I got a mansion on a yacht. All right. So that's us. Now he's innovative with this really cool shoe. What do we think? Do we think, wow, that should inspire us to make a better shoe? We should make better shoes. No. What do we think? Crush.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
Buy him or crush him. Sue him to death. Get rid of him. He's out. We
He's
wanna
costing us money.
Business as usual. So that's just the way it is in terms of large corporations in the way things are done, especially in America. So it isn't particular to the weed industry or smoking industry or anything like that.
Yep.
It's across the board is what I've come to learn. So when you know that, when you know that, Well, you just have to kind of brace yourself for it. So if you become successful in whatever you do, and I hope you do, you can darn well bet that some person who's a lot bigger than you is going to try to probably crush you. It's just the way life is. Get used to it. There's nothing we can do about it other than survive the gauntlet.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I mean, it's crazy. Do you think, like, while we're on the topic, do you think when federal legalization comes around, whenever that is, will that potentially ramp up the corporatization, or do you think it'll break down some of those barriers and make it easier for the small people?
Dude, I wish that was the case. I wish. I can tell you from personal experience in Canada, I know exactly how this is going to go down. Of course, this is my own personal opinion. I'm probably wrong. Okay? Listen, large corps, first you'll have the investors are the ones who are going to lose the most.
Yep.
All these guys are going to jump in. I can make money in cannabis. Whee!
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, they're going to come in there. They're going to pump money into such bullshit. You're going to have all the same pump and dump dudes that were like doing it on some other industry before this. They moved to the next one. They're coming into cannabis. I've got this great idea for cannabis ashtrays. When you put your joint in it, it releases cannabis. Whatever the fuck it's going to be. I've got this celebrity. I got that celebrity. I'm going to put this guy on the bag. I'm going to put this guy in the bag. Whatever it is, there's going to be a whole bunch of that bullshit. And look, we had $100 million in revenue. What that actually is, when you look at it, that cost them, let's say, $200 million to sell $100 million worth of shit.
Yep.
So they're losing money like crazy, but they'll just show you their revenue number to try to get you to invest.
We made this much.
Yeah, we sold $100 million. In the beginning, it was people used to make fun of Amazon for this. They were selling 5 quarters for $1. Meaning they were losing money on purpose.
It's a great deal.
It's a great deal. So of course everyone's jumping in.
Yeah.
And their mentality was, yes, everyone's going to jump in, and then we're going to make it where we're selling you 3 quarters for $1, but not until we've got you all in, which worked for them because they managed to have many, many billions of investors.
Yeah, clearly it played out right.
And now they're profitable. That doesn't work in the cannabis space. Instead, Joe Schmo investor is going to put in $100,000, $50,000, $10,000 into, I'll make up a cannabis name. I don't know. We're Santa Monica Cannabis Company.
Okay.
Oh, it's this great idea I have. We're going to do it. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. All this is special. It's so great. All these people are going to pump in there. Let's say they raised a total of $10 million. Of that $10 million, they're going to pay themselves a salary of $1 million, of course, and a bonus of $1 million.
Yep.
And their friend gets $1 million, and that person gets $1 million, and so do they, and that. Oh, we need the special corporate headquarters, and I need to spend money on all these things. And so in the end, I'm taking all your money and I'm giving it to myself. And then Santa Monica Cannabis is going to go under. Yep. In Canada, we watched this over and over and over again. People invested heavily in these larger cannabis companies, and most of them, I think, are not around anymore. And some of them were freaking huge.
The investors come in like vampires.
But the investors mean well, but they lose. The investors are the ones who lose the most. The people running those companies, they don't actually lose because they're paying themselves a salary anyway. It's the investors that get ripped off. The American investor will lose when federal legalization happens. Trust me.
Yep.
I could be wrong, of course, but I have very strong feelings on this based on what I saw in Canada, which was as legalization happened, everyone they all came running to my wife with the idea of, huge corporate grocery chains. We're going to convert to selling more cannabis products. We want your papers. Because we see the market as this. Some other giant chain, same thing to her. We see the market as this. We want to, and every one of them we're all going for the same consumer. So you have 5 large corps all thinking they're all going to get that same consumer. Well, 4 of them have to lose. Such is life. And 4 of them lost. So they all invested. They went in heavily. It was a bloodbath. They lost. Large cannabis, when it comes here, it will repeat that same thing. It'll be a situation where in the beginning, a lot of people will invest, stocks will go up. Suddenly, every one of those companies will be losing money. Stocks will go down. You and I, as common investors, are all going to lose. People are going to throw money at really stupid ideas, lots of money at really dumb ideas. I have this great thing. It's cannabis eye drops. Yeah, whatever it is, it's going to have money thrown at it, and it's probably not going to work. When the dust settles, what will be left is, sadly, a few large corporate megacorps, MSOs. A few of those guys will stick around, and they'll
I don't want those.
and when because of the way things are going to collapse, those huge MSOs are going to pick up the smaller guys that got where the regular investor built them up, and now the thing fell down and crushed. It's going to pick them up for pennies on the dollar, and then allow themselves to get even bigger. So when the dust settles, usually in America, I believe, we're going to have 3 huge MSOs running the entire show, And then they will start doing the American way that I've watched happen before. I've watched it in tobacco and other things. Well, now, whichever one is the biggest, will now try to have laws passed to kind of block the other two out of some market.
Yes.
And this and that. Oh, no, we
Yes.
need a patent to this. We need a patent to that. I've watched this in tobacco for years because I started off heavily in tobacco. I know that stuff. And I watched what these guys were doing to each other. And it was, in my humble opinion, it was evil.
Seems like it.
Yeah, they were passed laws and lobbied to have laws passed to try to ban their competitor's product instead of doing what you would do and I would do, which is I'm going to make a better product.
Yeah, just win through quality.
Your quality instead of, no, I'm making your stuff illegal.
The good thing's going to sell itself.
Exactly, it will. The consumer only wins if we compete fairly.
And it's interesting you bring that up because on the state level with cannabis laws, I mean, you see that a lot. You see there's a lot of lobbying from a lot of different sides of the industry.
Do you see Florida?
Yeah.
What kind of fucking bullshit was that? Holy fuck.
Crazy right now. Amendment 3 got shot down. I mean, it's a bloodbath in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a ton of players in the Florida market, these huge MSOs that have put in tens of millions of dollars.
100
each.
and something, according to the thing I saw on social media, so God only knows, they put in 100 and something million dollars to try to get that law passed because they said it would make them billions. And the law was restrictive of their competitors one way or another.
Yes.
Basically, a law saying we're the only legal cannabis company in Florida. Honestly, fuck that. It should be the case that the best cannabis company wins, man.
100%.
That's what America was built on.
That's the ideal scenario, but it's becoming more and more apparent that that's not going to be the case in most places.
And that's not going to be the case here either. You're going to have 3 huge MSOs. They're going to be passing every which law they can. Between fighting with each other and trying to keep anyone else from growing up, you cannot have your large cannabis company. I'm sorry. I'm going to crush you before you have a chance to come up. I will crush you. Yeah, that's the way it's going to be. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was going to be more free, but I don't see that as a possibility.
Yeah.
I wish it was, dude.
So maybe it's almost better that federal legalization hasn't come by yet because there is still some of those smaller players that are able to stay afloat.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. Of course, none of us do.
It's tough.
I don't want to. I want legalization because I want people to be free. I want the plant to be free. But I don't want these 3 large megacorps to take over our lives and eventually Pfizer saying, oh, Goblin, do you want cannabis? Here is your prescribed cannabis pill. It has this much of this. Here you go. Here you go. It's with synthetic cannabis. There you go, buddy. That's the only one that's legal now. Ha ha ha. We just had some laws passed. That's the only one. Oh, you know, before it was illegal to grow, now it's super illegal to grow. Now you grow your own. Oh, my God. Now you're violating FDA laws. Oh, you're growing a drug without a license. Like, it'll get...
Yeah, and these MSOs here currently are almost going state to state and just gaining power.
Yeah.
Every state that legalizes, they're like, okay, we're going to set ourselves up here. They make a bunch of money. They're just getting better poised for federal legalization. So they have the money to lobby for whatever they want at that level, you know, because nobody playing and winning on a 1 or 2 state level is really able to seriously lobby for federal laws. But somebody winning at some of these MSOs levels, 10, 20 states, you know, they're killing it. They got the money for that.
They do.
100%.
I just wonder if the audience understands. Like, they probably think we're only talking about people that are in the cannabis space. Like, actually, but it actually impacts every single cannabis consumer.
Everyone that smokes, yeah.
The new laws will likely be more restrictive than the old laws. It'll likely result in more jail time, heavier sentences once these 3 large corps start passing crazy laws and the FDA takes over. Now you've got drug laws, like you're growing a drug without a license. You're just dispensing a drug without a license. You mailed it? Oh, now you mailed a drug without a license. We got you for 40 years, man, for over 1 joint. It's going to become like that if we are not careful. The more we can stand up to that kind of stuff, the more that we actually see the bigger picture and are not hoodwinked by them, the greater chance we have of actual freedom. My belief of actual freedom is it's a plant, bro. It's been here longer than us.
It's natural.
It was put here by nature for a reason. It's this beautiful seed-growing plant. That means it wants you to eat it, including its seed, and then you poop it out, and your poop fertilizes the seed, and then more plants grow. We are symbiotic with that plant. It's part of us. It's part of our humanity. Jack Harrow told me a whole story of how I don't know if any of this is true. Don't freaking go there. That the spread of early mankind followed the spread of hemp down from northern Africa up into Europe. When we were hunter-gatherers, that's what we were gathering and eating. And he based on the nutritional profile of the plant, which is exactly matches what we need. It has the exact right ratio of omega-3, 6, and 9, and protein and fiber and all this stuff. And yet, and so it looks so like such the perfect food for us that you would think that like some alien came down and gave us the perfect food. Here it is, hemp. But it isn't. It's because we evolved consuming it. So I believe that our connection with cannabis is part of our humanity. It's part of who we are as in this life. We wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that plant. And now we're going to ban it and regulate it and turn it into a Pfizer pill? No.
I don't want that.
I don't want that
I don't
either.
want that.
It's our food source. It's our fuel source. It has so many, or fire, right? It can do so much for us, and we should allow it to completely. I don't believe there should be any restrictions on it whatsoever. Of course, there needs to be some so that, little kids can't get a hold of it, sure. But kids can go out and pick dangerous flowers from the side of the street at this point.
Oh, yeah. You can go find a mushroom on the street right now. They'll kill you.
You can find angel's trumpet. I see them all over my neighborhood. Yeah, and it'll kill you. And the kids walk right by it. I'm like, it's this plant won't kill you, So I really want the plant to be as free can be for you and for me.
That's the dream.
Belief. Yeah.
That's the dream, man. And it's really scary. I mean, in an ideal world for an MSO, what these corporations want, they don't want us to be allowed to home grow. They don't want us to be allowed to ship this weed to each other. They don't want us to be allowed to give our homie an eighth. Like, hey man, I just grew this fire. Here's an eighth for $10. Or whatever. Like that would be illegal in an ideal world for these MSOs. And it's like, dude.
It's illegal because it takes money out of their pockets, money that they do not deserve.
Yeah. I remember, for me, I mean, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and when legalization was first happening around the country, I remember, I believe it was Colorado and like Washington that went first, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I remember me and all my friends were like, dude, it might happen here one day. And we're talking about it. And we're like, bro, imagine the whole garage full of plants. Like, we're growing our own weed. I don't even know how to grow yet. I'll probably figure it out then, And we were all just thinking it was going to be this incredible thing where everyone's growing weed and smoking weed. And like, I don't think anyone could have imagined it would have turned into this. Or at least any of my friends back then. Like, it's turned into this. It's just mimicking alcohol and tobacco.
Which is what they want.
God. Oh, that upsets
The thing is, tobacco is actually, I've got the background. Tobacco is much more difficult to grow than cannabis. You got to cure it for real. I got to heat cure my tobacco. It's a pain in the ass.
Yep.
It's not something that people really want to do. So whereas cannabis, you can just grow it, dry cure it, you're done. It's so easy, and it grows easier. Tobacco is really cool for killing stuff. I used to plant it around my zucchini. And it kills the aphids.
Oh.
Do you know what nicotine is?
I mean, I know nicotine, but I don't.
Do you know what it actually is?
No.
Okay, again, this is based on Josh's personal opinion, and he's probably wrong.
Okay.
Nicotine was developed by plants as a Darwinistic evolution in order to stop bugs from eating it. It's a pesticide. It literally kills bugs and animals. So what the tobacco plant wants is there are different types of plants out there. We have our seed-bearing plants we were mentioning earlier that they're symbiotic with us. They want you to eat them. They want you to consume them. That's how they propagate. That's how they spread. And then you have defensive plants. Tobacco is a defensive plant. It's a nightshade. It's no, do not fuck with me. I will kill you if you fuck with me, bro.
Okay.
Like if you eat
Just
me.
a real tough guy.
Yeah. You eat me, you die. I want to give you cancer. I want you to die so you will stop fucking with me. That's how I survive. That's what it is, dude. It really is. It's telling you no. It's telling you in every which way, don't mess with me. That's what nicotine is. It's a poison developed by the plant to kill things that eat it. That's how it survives. And now we're sitting here growing it and extracting it and do all this stuff so we could consume tobacco. And if the plant could talk, it'd be looking at you saying, I'm gonna kill you, bro.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you eventually. So I look at tobacco like that, and I have a lot of respect for the tobacco plant. Again, it's one of nature's plants. It's not evil at all. It's amazing. There's also a little bit of nicotine in eggplant even. It's okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it doesn't want me to smoke it. It doesn't want me to mess with it. It wants me to leave it alone.
How much eggplant you would have to consume?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's something like 25.
Oh.
Yeah, whole eggplants, and it's in the skins. Yeah, because you get the skin out. Because people were trying to, when the FDA was first saying we regulate tobacco, fuck you, anything made from tobacco, people were trying to extract nicotine from eggplant in order to say, well, FDA, look, mine came from eggplant, but the amount of eggplant you had to use was ludicrous. It meant the cost through the roof.
Damn, there's probably still a few rich guys who are smoking that eggplant nicotine.
Well, I don't know, maybe. Now they lab grow nicotine. That was their other way around them, was saying, it's lab made nicotine. It's not from tobacco. So so the FDA changed their law or rule to say, no, we control all nicotine now. You're not getting around us, guys.
Bastards. I want some homegrown nicotine, man. Come on. You know? So I guess we'll kind of rein it back a little bit because we really got carried away talking about the industry there, which was a great conversation, by the way. But going back to your early life and what kind of brought you into this industry and what made you who you are, you brought up earlier how you weren't a very well-behaved kid, it sounds like.
No, I got thrown out of high school.
Me too.
Yeah.
So why'd you get thrown out of high
Fist
school?
bump.
Let's go.
I got many things. I got caught smoking pot in the dean's bathroom, for one thing.
Nice.
Yeah, my friend Andy Kaplan with this giant bong he was hiding in his trench coat. Like, think about it.
You were ripping a bong in the dean's bathroom.
In the dean's bathroom. It was Andy's bong.
And your friend came to school with a bong in his trench coat.
Yeah, Andy had a bong in his trench coat. That would be the funniest thing.
Was he wearing this coat to class, or was it like in his locker or something?
I don't know. I just know you had the fucking trench coat and you had the fucking bong.
So how did smoking in the dean's bathroom come about? Do you just?
I don't remember who had the key, if it was me or him, but someone ended up with the key to the dean's bathroom. So we thought we would. I don't even know how any of us thought this was a good idea. But we went in there to fucking smoke pot in the dean's bathroom, and we got caught.
By who?
The dean. Someone smelled it and told him, and he came storming in.
Yep.
And that was a problem. That sucked.
So once that happened, did you get kicked out immediately? It was just like
not quite immediately. I remember. I don't because again memory hazy.
Yeah.
But I remember at one point my guidance counselor told me that I think she was the one who made the final decision. Josephine Nadler. I made fun of her on social media a few times. I found her picture, and you never forget this shit, dude. She told me I would never amount to anything and threw me out of school. I remember that.
Oh wow. Yeah, I definitely, the stuff that my teacher said to me when I was young really stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know, like the negative and the positive, for sure.
I don't remember the positive, just remember the negatives.
I had one teacher that was nice to me, and then I had quite a few that said similar things like that to me as well. Because, I also got thrown out of school, and then you got sent to what, like an alternative school?
Yeah, alternative school, but it was okay. I was in New York City, so I went to this cool school called Robert Louis Stevenson up on the Central Park West, and it was a bunch of burnouts and that kind of shit, and I got along with those guys great. In fact, my propensity to rebel made it where I decided I was going to put on like a goody two shoes type image to the school, even though all my friends there knew. So we'd be all out all night partying sometimes. We'd go back to school in the morning, and we'd stay out all night. We'd sleep at Washington Square Park or on a park bench or something ridiculous, and then go back to school the next day, and I would put on like a sport jacket or something ridiculous. My friends all look trashed and they're all laughing, and I'd be keeping a straight face. And then I'd be going up to give a speech or something you have to do for class, and I would fuck it up because I'd been up all night. Yep. And they'd start laughing at me. And I would turn to them and be like, don't laugh at me, guys. That's not nice. Just playing. Yep. And the teacher would literally scold them. He's trying, and you're not. And I'd play along and be like, yeah, they're really not being like, I'm trying so hard, and they're not even trying. And they'd be like, dude, I'm going to fucking kill you after class, Kesselman. You're going down, motherfucker. I was like, don't threaten me. That's not nice. Yeah, dude, I had so much fun with them. And then after, they'd be like, you fucking bastard. But yeah, that was fun. So, yeah.
just fucking with your homies like that. You know,
it was
good
fun.
side, you know?
Yeah, we had great sessions and great fun. So, yes, I did. In that second high school they sent me to, the last one, I did fine, went through that thing in New York City, and that was great. I had fun there at that school. I really did. It was fun. Because you got to be an adult, but yet you're only like 16, 17 years old, and you got to really live an adult life, you know? And back then, no one's IDing you at bars or anything. You're just fucking having fun.
Yeah, back then, doing anything but going to school was like, lit.
Yeah.
We
had so much fucking fun.
So let's take a minute real quick to talk about my friends at Puffco, because they were kind enough to sponsor today's episode. And listen, they've been dropping some heat lately. The new Peak just came out and it's more affordable than ever. The Pivot just dropped and it's more portable than ever. And the new Peak Pro absolutely shreds. I'm sure you guys have seen me rip it plenty. We all know about the Hot Knife. They got all these sexy new colors coming out. I would have the green one on the table, but I took it home. You're not seeing that again. That's a personal piece. Puffco's been killing it, and they didn't tell me what to say in this read, so what I am going to say is I love their products, and these are the e-rigs that I use on a daily basis, you know? When I'm traveling, this is what I'm packing in my suitcase. Puffco's been killing it lately. I don't think there's an e-rig brand that I recommend more strongly than them right now. Keep crushing it, Puffco, and thanks for supporting the show. And if you don't have a device from them yet, I don't know what you're doing, especially if you like to smoke hash. Get in there, get yourself a Puffco. Shout out to them. Let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so I'll try to get what happened. All right, I don't know. At some point, I went to school. I went to university out there in New York, and I just realized that, like, dude, this is not for me. Like, I had to get out of New York. I was getting my ass kicked. I really was. And I was hanging out with some people that maybe I shouldn't be. But
So you gave college a shot at least.
I really did. I gave it a real shot. But when I went to University of Florida in Gainesville, the cool thing about that was because of my family, I had in-state tuition, which was at the time $49.11 a credit hour from memory. But that was so cool. Because my dad had gone.
Sounds pretty damn cheap.
It was. My dad had gone babankrupt, so I needed to do shit myself.
Oh.
And
what kind of business did your dad do?
They owned a sweater making factory. Really into sweaters. Yeah, which is the cool thing is I learned all about making sweaters and the machines for it, which later on helped me so much when it came to rolling papers. So it was cool knowledge that I picked up working in that factory a lot. So I decided to go down to the University of Florida in Gainesville. I moved down there and cheap tuition, different life, all that stuff. And while I was still in school there, that's when I decided I was going to live up my dream. My dream was to open up a head shop. Because when I was a kid, and I've told this story a zillion times, but I have to tell it again. And the cool thing about telling a story is that in a way, when you tell it, you get to relive it.
Yeah.
I think that's why old people.
a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why old people repeat the old stories over and over and over again.
It's fun for them.
It's because then they get to relive it for a moment, you know, which is the best part.
Like,
yeah.
I remember that.
I remember that. See, for me, what I picture is the first time I ever saw a rolling paper in my life, the way I remember it, my dad was doing magic tricks with his rolling paper. I was like 5.
Okay.
And we're at my grandma's house, and he takes his paper and he would light it on fire and throw it, and it would just go and vanish. And we'd all be looking at it like, oh, and like I had that moment of realization, that moment of like, you know, like magic is real. Santa Claus is real. There's this whole universe out there, like Harry Potter style, you know? Back then, no Harry Potter, of course, but that whole thing of like, wow. So the only magic trick he knew was that, but it blew my mind and I never forgot it. So as we got a little bit older and I could go into smoke shops and things, I would always start collecting rolling papers. I'd buy different booklets, and the artwork of them was just enamoring to me. When I go into these cool little smoke shops and head shops and stuff, the people behind the counter were like, man, they were so fucking cool. They'd have long hair, they had tattoos, they had beards.
This guy looks different.
He's different, man. He was living a free life. He looked happy. There's all this cool stuff in the store. Funky, cool, weird shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Wow. And so I just looked at them and thought like, wow, I want to be that guy. I want to live that kind of life. Imagine owning that store. Oh my God, you would be free. Imagine how much fun that would be.
You could do whatever you wanted every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it seems like from the outside.
It did. It really did. So when I was still in school at the University of Florida in Gainesville, I opened up my first little fucking store. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I got it open. I also put my rolling paper collection online. So you were juggling
school and a brand new business at the same time.
But I didn't really care about school so much. I cared about the store more than the school. So I just kind of limped through the school part. It was the store that meant everything to me. A little tiny hole-in-the-wall store about the size of this room. I think I was paying $450 a month in rent on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I took one of my old motorcycles and I put it on the roof to make it look cool. And like I did the place up all weird and cool and funky. This is 93, something like that. And the store, I had no idea what I was doing, but people would walk in and they would say to me, oh my God, you're opening up a head shop? Are you going to carry dugouts, for example? And I didn't know dugouts were worth of shit. And I'd be like, yes, it'll be here in 2 weeks. What's your favorite one? And they would tell me which one their favorite one is. They'd walk out. I'd say, I promise it'll be here in 2 weeks. I'll give you a huge discount. Just come back in 2 weeks, man. I got you. They'd go out. I'd hit the phones. This is before trolling the internet, you know? And I'd find someone who had it. I'd bring it into the store. They would then come in and there it would be. Because I knew if they wanted it, then probably other people did too. And I did that with maybe, I don't know, a couple hundred products to the point where the community built the store. So the store did really, really well because it was their store.
Everyone wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't pretend. I put my own shit in there too, but it was really what they wanted. And I started selling my extras of my rolling paper collection and trading with collectors in Europe to get more rolling papers in. And I found real fast that like back then, I would buy a pack of, I guess it's all right for me to say their name, like a pack of Zigzag Orange would cost me like $1 a pack.
Yep.
But I could only sell it for $1.25 because across the street from me was a gas station selling for $1.25.
Yep.
So
Can't be any higher than that.
Right. So I'm making 25 cents on that pack. But then on these cool European packs, the dudes are basically giving me for almost nothing. They were just so happy
you
to
got a wide margin on that.
The stuff was costing me like 10, 15 cents a pack.
Ooh, we're up.
Yep. And all rolling papers in the store were being sold for $1.25. So now I got some shit here that I'm making like over $1 on. I got the zigzags I'm making 25 cents on. Well, dude, obviously I'm business-wise, this is much better for me to go towards here, like the cool stuff. And this cool stuff had more leaves per pack often. The consumers I was giving it to, it was new and exotic. They told me how much they liked it better. So everybody's winning except for the large tobacco corps, you know?
Yeah.
And I just, wow, this is great. And I was able to bring in more and more rolling papers, and I was having so much fun, because I love rolling papers. And that was cool until my store sold a bong to the daughter of the United States Customs Service.
I read about this online. This is nuts.
Yeah.
What an unlucky situation.
Unlucky situation. Shit happened.
So tell me about that. How'd that play out?
It played out where my store sold a bong to the daughter of the local Customs Service head of the Customs guy. And he was pretty fucking pissed off, really fucking pissed off. And he came in, helmets on, guns, the whole thing, door flying open. One of them was wearing an American flag T-shirt. I remember what an insult that was. And they came in and did a full-on raid as if I was like that guy.
Like they kicked the door into your store.
I'm down on the ground with the machine gun, the whole thing.
And you just got some rolling papers and like some bongs on the wall and stuff.
Yep. Dude, they were pissed. But like they were jocked. You know what I mean? Like
I couldn't imagine operating a smoke shop that early in the game. It was probably a whole different ballpark.
It was. You were worrying about them. You're always worried about those guys coming in, but they would do it. It was so rare that they would do a thing like that. Mm-hmm. But my store just got unlucky one way or another. And I had a bunch of stores at that point, and they did a full-on huge fucking raid. I had to take a felony hit, federal felony too, so you can never really get rid of that shit.
What was like the actual charge?
Interstate transportation of drug paraphernalia, namely bongs.
Oh, that does not sound good.
No.
That does not sound good.
No. It was fucking awful.
What happened from that, like court-wise? What was your sentence?
Oh, I think I got like 5 years probation. I got like house arrest and shit like that.
You avoided jail.
Yeah, avoided actual jail.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Wow.
I got lucky as fuck. It was, there's a whole shit happened. It was a fucking shit. It was such a bad time in my life. I thought I had this disease where I was going to die, but that's a whole nother story. It fucking sucked. But I got out of there.
Uh-huh.
Wait, let me tell you something cool.
Okay.
Whenever I tell this story, or whenever I relive this story, I have to remind myself, and by doing so, I remind you, that happening, although it sucked, was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to me in my life. Mm. For real. If they hadn't done that, I was really happy in my stores. Like, Nick, I fucking loved them. Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you were really passionate about
it. I like people a lot. I grew up very lonely, so now I had friends all the time. I'm in the store, you're going to walk in there, I'm going to talk to you. And if there's not many people there, dude, I'm going to keep you in there for a fucking hour, building a bong for you myself, taking metal hand pipes back to it, correcting it over and over again. Hey, do you like it a little longer? How do you like your smoke? You want a chamber on it? Wait, it might leak here. Let me put another O-ring on there. And I'm sitting there doing all this because I don't want you to leave, dude. You're my buddy. Don't go. Hey, wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would build pipes and shit for people until eventually it was the ultimate pipe, and they'd walk out and tell their friends, like,
playground.
Right. And these guys would be like, dude, that guy Josh, he's fucking sick, dude. You walk in there, he's going to build you the perfect pipe. He kept me in there for a fucking hour. We're talking about bongs till eventually we built the one that really matched my smoke. This guy's amazing. So I was happy. I kept the store open 24 hours. So like if I woke up at 3 a.m. or I was out late, I could stop by the store and fucking do my thing and hang out with people, you know? So I wouldn't have left. I'd still be there right now. I wouldn't be on this podcast. Raw wouldn't exist. It would be the butterfly effect, going down a different road, if the feds hadn't done that to me in the 90s. But they did.
Shout out the feds for that one thing.
Yeah,
only that one thing.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. So I guess, that Raw is entirely owed to that raid almost, it sounds like.
There's a couple things in the universe. Yeah, it's a lot of luck, a lot of circumstances in the universe coming together where it just made it where it was. I guess it was very appropriate that I moved to Phoenix.
Yep.
Because of what a Phoenix actually is, right? So I moved there for my own rebirth. At the time, there was a rolling papers factory, one to make these beautiful booklets, in Spain that was going through its own version of the same thing. Mm-hmm. Its predecessor had been litigated, from what I understand, litigated into bankruptcy in the 80s. It was a factory that used to make bamboo rolling papers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How does that smoke?
It's a brand that's not so popular anymore. It's from what I understand, but it was really popular in the 80s, man, like heavy popular. And a large tobacco corp that eventually sued me too, sued them one way or another, a related party, I don't know what the right term is, sued them, and they couldn't really withstand it. In the end, they went into bankruptcy, and that factory, which is in a little tiny town called Alcadía de Aznar, was closed. The oldest machines and some weird machines and some of the workers together, one way or another, thanks to Jose Emilio, set up another factory, like the rebirth of that. Mm-hmm. And that new factory connected with this guy who was going through his own rebirth. And together, we basically began remaking old rolling papers of the past. We used some beautiful French milled paper. We used paper from Czech Republic, all these different kind of things in order to make these incredible rolling papers that I hadn't seen in decades, you know? Mm-hmm. And one of them was to pay homage to my dad, his favorite rolling paper when he used to do the magic trick, mm-hmm. which was a brand called Marfil Arroz. Now, it's a rice paper. It does
It's
not
very
mean
exquisite sounding brand
yeah,
name.
marfil. But I couldn't use the word marfil. Even if I had, it didn't mean anything to anybody. So I named it Elements, after the elements that are used to make the paper. And it was beautiful, and it was a moderate success, especially back in the 90s. It took a while for it to build up, you know? And we had these machines that could make flavored papers. So Jose would make me cool flavored papers. And I named those Juicy J's after a nickname I had in high school when I did something stupid, going around to look for LL Cool J. But that's a whole other story. It was so dumb of me, but we had so much fun, man. We were having so much fun.
So you went around and literally looked for LL Cool J, you're saying?
Yeah, because, okay, keep in mind, I am young and dumb.
Okay.
I think I'm cool.
Yep.
I'm listening to LL Cool J, and he sings Farmers Boulevard. That's where the crib's at, the place to be. Mm-hmm. And he's singing over and over again. And he hangs out on Farmers Boulevard. That's not that far from me. You know, let's cut school and go look for LL Cool J on Farmers Boulevard, guys. Get in, let's go.
Roll a couple joints, head over
yes.
there. Yo.
we had a convertible with the top down. We're smoking weed, looking for fucking LL Cool J. Asking people on the corners, you know where LL Cool J lives,
You're
man.
literally rolling up to, it's like a movie scene I'm picturing.
Dude, it was so bad. And
Yo,
it
you
really
guys know where LL Cool J stays at? Which corner?
I know, what the fuck you talking the fuck out of here? Yeah, it was bad. But it was fun. And up to that point, because I had a Mustang convertible and it was white, my friends were calling me. Yeah, it was cool, sort of, for 1 second. But then...
One of the Fox Body ones?
Yeah, it's Fox Body.
Ooh,
Yeah, 5.0.
those are okay.
Wait, it's okay again now. However, we got to
Yes.
go back now to like, we're going to 1980, flashback 1987, 1988, something like that. Josh got this cool ass one. Oh, dude, it's cool. He loves it. It's white. He's working on it all the time. He's customizing it. He loves this car. Wow, look, Josh thinks he's so cool. And then Vanilla Ice comes out.
Oh, no.
And he drives the same goddamn car.
No, he stole your swag.
He stole the same. And now all my friends start making fun of me that I'm Vanilla Ice. And they start calling me Vanilla Ice when I pull up at places. Yo, look, it's Vanilla Ice. He's pulling up. I'm like,
Oh, you had to sell that car.
fuck. I didn't sell the car. I did eventually get rid of the car. But I was heartbroken. So they kept calling me Vanilla Ice. However, that night, after we'd gone to look for LL Cool J, and everyone heard the ridiculous story of us driving around stoned looking for LL Cool J, they changed my nickname to Cool J. Not because I was cool, because I was such a dork for going around looking for LL Cool J, and my name's Josh J. So they'd be like, "Oh, you look, it's Cool J."
That's Cool J. Okay.
It was not because I was cool. It was the other way. But still, I got a better nickname. And when I was making rolling papers, one of the first ones I wanted to make was menthol. And I couldn't, so I needed a name for it, so I named it Cool J's after menthol. The second one in that in the flavor range was watermelon. I couldn't name it Cool J's watermelon, so I named that one Juicy J's. So it all goes back to cool things like that. And then Juicy J's took off and did really well on its own too. So now I've got a couple little successful ones. There's a whole bunch of other ones I did too that we don't want to talk about because they're no longer alive. They didn't survive. We only talk about our successes, but there's a lot of failures along the way.
Rest in peace, all the failures.
Yeah, Rollies. I'm sorry, dude. I really tried. Yeah, I made some cool shit that people still see from time to time, like these pouch papers and these things called urban wraps where it looked like a cigarette when you smoked it. It had like a printed filter, so you'd smoke it, it looked like a filter.
Oh, nice and incognito.
Incognito as fuck. I did one called Skulls, where I had skulls on the paper. I did so many different things. I was so excited to have access to this factory to make cool shit.
You're just doing everything.
Everything I could. We had so much fun doing this stuff. But then I had finally grown enough stance, cred, whatever it is, so that I could actually get them to make my own. Now we got a flashback for a second because I fuck up the story like I always do. 93 when I got my store.
All right, yep, before you ever made papers.
Before I ever made papers.
Before you even got rated.
Before I even got rated. 93, and I'm building up that store for the people, and they're telling me what they want.
Yep.
One of the things they told me they wanted was, I guess I could say the name. Well, I probably shouldn't. I will say it. A certain brand of natural cigarettes from America. That was not so popular back then in 93. So stores didn't carry it. Now it's everywhere, but it wasn't at the time. So they wanted me to bring it in. And the dude's telling me, "Oh, you're going to love it, dude. It's so natural. It's natural, 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 natural." I said that word to me 100 times. It's different than a Marlboro. You're going to love it. Oh, my God, it's different.
I think I for sure know what you're talking about.
Right.
But I'm not
And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was going to just give them another chance to come after me. Please, not. I don't want that again. It sucks. So it's like, hey, dude. No, I'm good. All right. So now I bring in the cigarettes for the guy. I have to buy a whole case of it, I think. And I was just like, wow, it's a big risk, but I did it. The guy was ranting. And he comes in. I give him his first pack, discounted. He's all excited. Hey, you want one, Josh? I used to smoke back then. So I'm like, hell yeah. He pulls it out. And dude, it's a bright white, bleached out, full of freaking calcium carbonate, which is basically chalk, cigarette paper thing, cigarette. Oh. And I'm looking at this white thing and I'm like, That's not what I was envisioning at all. That's not what
That
I
sounds
envisioned.
disgusting.
Well, it's a regular in a way, and I don't want to say anything that's going to get them to get
It's not meant for weed, it sounds like.
No,
It's
it
not
was
meant to-
it was cigarettes, and it
Yes.
just looked to me like a regular Marlboro. It looked to me as a person, my individual personal opinion, it just looked like a regular fucking typical white cigarette.
Yep.
And I was so disappointed. I was so upset because what I was envisioning with all my knowledge of rolling papers, and at this point I had a collection that was maybe 1,000 or 2,000 deep. I'm picturing it's going to be this translucent brown natural paper that I'm envisioning wrapped around where you could even see the tobacco through it. This is going to be the greatest cigarette ever, man. And I get this fucking chalk stick in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck? So I thought about it that night. I was like, what the fuck? I was really like one of those moments where it's like, huh? And I get home, I get really stoned as I often did. And I thought about it. What the fuck was that? What kind of bullshit was that? And suddenly I realized, I thought through my whole collection, I realized I had never seen the paper that I was envisioning. That we, when I say we, that means us humans, that I don't think we had ever made that paper. It had never existed. And I realized right then in 93, I need to make that fucking paper. And even then I knew what I wanted to call it.
It just came to you. You were like, I need to make
that
this
paper
happen.
should exist. I
Yep.
can't believe it doesn't exist. That caused me to do research to find out why rolling papers are white. Because I was like, what the fuck? Why are they all white? When I learned that story, I got my friend Kevin told me. He was a huge rolling paper collector, bigger than I ever was. He eventually, sadly, I miss you, Kevin. I wish you hadn't done that. There's a lot we could talk
R.I.P..
about. Yep. He told me a story of why rolling papers are white. Once he told me that, I was like, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Want me to tell you the story?
Sure, yeah, please. Why are they white?
Okay, from Kevin, the reason why they're white is the first cigarettes, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, that have ever been rolled were rolled in Spain with used scraps of paper, probably used newspaper, and it was scraps of tobacco. The way that Kevin tells it, it was the aristocrats would smoke a cigar. The cigar would turn. That means it gets about halfway through. It resonates so much, just like weed, but it's different in that it gets so strong that you can't smoke it. They would drop it down, and the peasants would come and grab it and open it up and re-roll it in used newspaper. Encyclopedia Britannica says that they were using, if I remember right, was using scraps of paper from an old tobacco factory and scraps from an old tobacco factory. Either way, it involves basically peasants and scraps. Rolling it up. Now, every puff of that tobacco is precious as fuck. Cigars are not meant to be inhaled. The aristocrats are going...
Yep.
But now you got this little bits here. You and I, we find that shit, dude. We're going to roll it up. We're going to hold that smoke in.
I'm zeroing that head. I'm exhaling nothing.
We
We're
are
playing
holding that
baseball
shit.
with that.
Yep. It's literally coming over on like the Nina Pinta and Santa Maria from freaking Cuba. Like, you know, in wooden sailing ships. That tobacco is fucking precious, bro.
That is exquisite right
Exquisite. We are going to crush. It's going to be like that last little nug that we have. This has to last us a week. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? It's going to be like that.
Yep.
And that's what it was like for them. So they began smoking in this paper. Once this process of smoking in paper made its way up through Spain in Comunidad Valenciana, which is the Valencian area, you had a town called Yativa. You had further up north, you have Alcoy. These areas are like the king of making papers for the whole region. I think they were first places in Europe that paper was actually made. So it makes it up to here. They see this process of rolling in used paper. They supposedly say, hell no, and immediately develop paper for smoking, and they make it bright white to show you that it's not used newspaper. It's not full of lead and cadmium, and God only knows what else might have been in that paper. Instead, it's pure. And the earliest booklets, or some of the early booklets I find, and I post in my story from time to time on Instagram just to show people, used to say hygienico on it to tell you that it was clean. They're trying to tell you it's not used newspaper.
Yep.
So that, so bright white was to signify clean. Bright white was to signify it's not
It's
used
like all
newspaper.
the white ash,
White
type
ash
happening
bullshit.
right
Yes,
now. Yeah.
same thing.
How do you feel about the white ash stuff that's happening right now?
It makes me very sad because I see what we are doing, which is a mimicking of what's been going on for a long time. The big tobacco guys used to promote white ash as a marker of cleanliness.
Yep.
When in reality, they were just mixing up chalk, calcium carbonate, into the paper or onto the tobacco itself and making it so when it burns down, it leaves behind that white chalky residue so that you think oh my God, it's pure. Look at that white ash. Dude, that's calcium carbonate,
Yes.
man. That's not something I want in my lungs. It's going to probably irritate me. I can taste it. I really can. I believe you probably can too. I'm going to say no. But chasing white ash leads us into chemicalization.
Yep.
It leads us away from natural. It leads us towards, I'm going to do whatever it takes to give you that white ash experience, including essentially faking or bogusing, giving you a bogus white ash. I don't care if I got to spray paint it white. I'm going to give you a white ash, bro.
Yeah, and I think there's so many variables, especially with a joint too, to like what makes white ash. I mean, it's how tight or loose you roll the joint.
That's part of it.
The part of the paper, part of it's the weed itself. There's so many different variables. It's
you know what you could add when you're growing, right? It's
what is it that you add when you're growing?
The key thing. There's two things, but one of them is CalMag. Increase that. Fucking raise that shit up. You want a whiter ash? Yep. Fucking get that in there, man.
And I've heard of that. That's what, like a fertilizer,
it's an additive. Calcium, magnesium.
Okay.
The calcium itself. If more calcium the plant absorbs, calcium is what that same thing is adding it to the paper. We're trying. It leaves white behind, and even if you vaporize this for a moment, it turns back to white.
That just cannot be good for you.
I can't say because then some dude's going to jump through the camera and strangle me.
Me personally, when I think of that, I think there's just no way that's beneficial. At least I'll leave it at that. You know,
I'm trying to go like, all right, so like the Sisters of the Valley. That's like that's like where I look at for like, okay, there's a standard, living soil, plant. I really appreciate indoor flower. I love indoor flower.
Yeah.
I just, from an ethics standpoint, the plant should see the sun. It was designed to see the sun. It wants to see the sun. If it could talk to you, it would say, please let me see the sun. Our lights that we are creating, you and me as humans, are not better than the sun. This plant wants to see the sun. Let it see the fucking sun, man.
The prettiest weed is going to come from the indoor usually, but I mean the terpiest weed, and especially the stuff that makes the best hash, that's all going to be outside.
But you can grow, there's ways to grow indoors. I've seen it where you're growing indoors yet capturing sunlight through those really cool, what do they call it, skylights that channel it through mirrors and bring it down. There's ways like this that I've seen where I'm like, that is a cool, eco-friendly fucking grow. I'd like us as a society to move towards that, to move further away from artificial light and towards real light. The plant wants to see the sun. If you make a happy plant, it's going to make you happy, is what I believe. So I wanted to see the sun. It doesn't have to be 100% sun grown. It can be depths. It can be things like that.
Yeah.
But just give it the chance. Like, I'm vegan, so this is not a good acronym for me, but like a free-range chicken, dude. People like that shit because they think the chicken was happy. Wouldn't you want your weed to be happy? Happy weed. Happy weed. Imagine that.
Yeah, I want my weed to be happy for sure. That's when I think of my plant, I think of a nice, happy guy growing up and living a good life, and then he's going to enjoy when I put him in a bowl.
He wants you to. Yeah.
Wherever I put him.
So therefore, you should see the sun for a second.
You said you've been a vegan, yeah?
Yeah, for 20-something years.
Oh, wow. What drove that decision?
Love, really.
Nice.
I couldn't do it anymore.
Nice. Was it is it like difficult to stay away from meat for you, or do you prefer it? Or?
Now I
probably so used to it by now. Yeah,
so used to it now. In the beginning, it was something nagging inside of me. Listen, this may be unpopular, but I truly believe in my heart that every human being has the same feeling that I had deep inside. It's this little carrying feeling of guilt. It's of doing something that inside, no matter what you say out of your lips, there's something deep inside of you that knows that hurting that animal is wrong. When you were 5, when you were 4, when you were 3, you didn't want to hurt the cow. You loved the cow. You wanted to hug the cow. Same thing with that cute little piglet over there. Same thing with anything. You were petting the chicken, man. I know that sounds funny. Bad analogy, petting the chicken. Got it. But you know what I mean? We were like that way when we were little. That doesn't really go away. That's still in here on every single one of us. For me, it just kept getting louder and louder, and maybe the smoke had something to do with it until I really had no choice but to listen to it, or else I was going to not be someone who I could live with anymore. So about 20 years ago, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I had experiences. I was on the side of the road on a broken down motorcycle. I was hanging out with a bunch of cows, waiting for my bike to cool down so I could get going again. And I was hanging out with the cows all that whole time under a shade tree. And the cows brought me their baby to meet their baby. And it was so cute. And then I finally make it to Tallahassee, Florida that night. And what does this fucking idiot order?
Steak.
A fucking hamburger. Rare.
And it's rare.
And it's rare, and I bite into it.
It's a rare hamburger.
And the blood runs out. You know, because they call it juice, but it's blood.
Yeah, it's blood.
It runs out onto the plate, and I look down at that blood, and I remembered that baby cow. I could still picture it to this day, but I'm not going to well up. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't fucking do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I kept repeating that word to myself 1,000 times. I still do. And that was the moment at which, okay, I won't eat cows anymore. I can't. Well, the next thing you know, you're having an experience with other animals where you really suddenly are just like, I can't do this, man. If I'm starving to death, sure. On the desert island speech that friends would give you, I'd be like, sure, dude, you and I are on the desert island.
Yep.
I'll do it with you. I'll be the
then
first one.
Then it's survival.
Right.
So
but I'm not survival. I got a field of soybeans right there. I got all this fucking beautiful, I got quinoa. I got hemp. I got all this shit right in front of me. I'm going to go kill that beautiful fucking little baby cow. Like, no, dude, I'm good. I want to live with myself. I want to be a happy person. If I kill that cow, I'm going to feel so bad about myself. I'm never going to forget cutting its head. No. So I had a choice, but I didn't really have a choice.
Some of those vegan like dupe restaurants, like they have a vegan McDonald's out here. It's really good, actually. Cool. I've tried it. It's pretty close too. Yeah. It's pretty close to the real thing.
That's a path to go. That's to show people that it can be done.
Yep.
I prefer it. I was on the board of a vegan charity called Earth Save for like 5 years.
Interesting.
I learned so much from that experience. And one of the things I learned was we were doing some kind of study to basically show why people were vegan and if they stayed vegan for more than a couple of years. And the ones who stayed vegan the most were the people that did it from a class that they couldn't put a name on. They were like, well, they were kind of call it the class of empathy. All this, because the answers were when you look into a cow's eyes, what do you see? And the people were like, well, I see love. I see an animal that doesn't want to die. In the end, I named that class Love. People who love the animals. Where it's like, dude, I love you, bro. I'm not gonna fucking kill you. Fuck that. I'm good. We're good. I'm leaving you alone. And once I kind of internalized that, and once I realized that more, I was like, the best way to be vegan is, it isn't animal rights. That's a good way. It isn't health. That goes away. It isn't trend. It's, I share like 99.999% of DNA with that thing over there. It's looking at me. It's got 2 eyes, a nose, mouth, ears. It has babies. It's thinking. Yep. It's looking at me and thinking. It's scared right now. It's scared. Fuck that, dude. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Fuck it. I'm good.
Let him go chill with his babies.
Yeah, leave it alone.
If there
is some kind of afterlife, maybe there'll be some kind of beautiful karma waiting for me. Maybe not. Either way, I can't do this. So that was the end of animals for me. And I think that I really believe that if people let that voice speak loudly, which is, by the way, and sorry for rambling so much, one of the reasons that I truly believe that cannabis can save the world, because when we smoke, we become more empathetic. We open ourselves up more. When we drink, we shut down. Currency, the rapper, he was telling me the same thing. We had long talks about this stuff. That no one ever said they're going to go smoke a joint and then go beat somebody up. No one said, let's go rob someone. Let's smoke a joint and go rob somebody.
Yeah, it makes you peaceful. It makes you outgoing. It makes you want to just have a good time.
Let's hang out. Let's just smoke and fucking chill.
Yeah.
Drinking, on the other hand, the other way. Let's get drunk and go do something stupid. Right. Yeah. So the more we smoke, the more we move away from drugs, including alcohol's a drug, that reduce empathy, and the more we move towards drugs that increase empathy, the better of a society we are, the more we'll care about each other, the more we'll end up with a bunch of fucking vegans and people who actually give a shit about each other and friends and a happier place.
So you view weed as a drug as well?
It is a drug. Of course it is.
I agree with that. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't, though.
I mean, caffeine's a drug, dude.
I think anything that alters your state of mind is objectively a drug.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
sage is a drug.
But there's a lot of people out there, even in my content, when I call weed a drug, some people get offended
because they're thinking prescription drugs. I mean...
It's obviously not like that, but objectively, yeah, it's a drug. I mean, we got drugs all around right now. I got a coffee over there off camera. I got drugs all up in that cup.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of drugs around.
Sugar's a drug. I mean, at what point do you stop?
Sugar's a good drug.
I know. Well, then it crash afterwards. Yeah. So it literally is a drug. I mean, they market it glucose tablets. It's a fucking drug.
Yep.
So if we understand that anything that changes anything is a drug, it's just that it's not a prescription drug. It's not a hard drug. It's not something that needs to be regulated.
Yep, for sure. Free the plant.
Free the fucking plant.
The damn plant. So, reining it back in a little bit to the early days of your papers. After you got rated in '96, you started out in the paper game. Had some failures, some early successes. When did Raw come along?
2005 is when I fully launched it.
Okay.
It had been building up to it. I'd been trying for a long time to get someone to. I needed the base sheet. Jose Emilio has a rolling papers factory. That means he doesn't make the base sheet. He buys from mills. It goes to him. He would then take it, cut it, watermark it, press it, cut all these things to it, gum it, and customize it in all these cool fucking ways, print on it, flavor it, all this shit. But you need someone to make that base fucking sheet. You got to get a mill to make that. And no mill was giving us the time of day when I was trying to explain to them what I wanted, from what I remember. There was one small mill. I can't remember the name of it anymore because it got bought out by a large corp later.
Yep.
That finally was willing to make the base sheet. They were the only ones that even showed any interest. And they made the first, it's called a mother roll. A mother roll is like as big as this room, and it's about 17 miles long.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so when you're committing to mother rolls, it's a very big financial commitment, especially when you don't have much money like I do.
It's a brand new brand.
Yeah, brand new, a concept that has never been tried before that I know of.
Your very first buy of a roll for Raw was one of these mother rolls.
I think I had to get a few mother rolls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because the factory, no one wanted to. Okay, a mill's been making paper a certain way for many of these guys are hundreds of years old, right? My preferred mill, one of my favorite, is along a river in France, and I believe they are 150 something years old now. Go to a mill that's 150 years old and tell them to change the way they do shit. Who do you think they're going to say to you?
They'll laugh you out the door.
Right. And some of those machines are 100 something years old. They're going to look at you like, okay, kid, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of that. I don't blame them. I understand the resistance to change. That's part of humanity. But these one guys, Feuerstein, I think their name was, were the only ones who were willing to listen, at least consider it. And eventually I went back. They had said no, of course. I went back to them because I kept getting stoned and thinking about, what can I do? What do I do? No, it'll make this. You can't give up on your fucking dreams.
You just got to keep trying.
So I went back to them and said something ridiculous like, hey man, if I ordered 100, they sell by the ton. If I ordered 100, I'd order 1,000 tons of this or 10,000 tons of this, you would make it for me, right? And they were like, yes, of course. I'm like, okay, so what is the actual number I have to buy in order to get you to make this bed?
It's not going to be that.
It's not going to be, I think I said 1 million tons. They said something ridiculous just to get them excited. And then I was like, okay, what do I actually have to buy? And they told we negotiated on that, or Jose Emilio negotiated. I don't remember exactly how it went. But one way or another, it was a lot of fucking paper. And it all went up to Jose Emilio, and he made the first booklets of Raw. And I believe he made them in 2004 or something. I think we launched it in 2005. I have this memory of my daughter, Coco. She's being born, and I think I got the shipping documents. It was all like, it was like she was born at the time when Raw was born. You know, they were co-born. Shit. Yeah, something like that happened. It was so cool. Yeah, she really is the Raw baby. And so Raw comes into America really in 2005. Now people don't know what to do with this thing because it's brown. They've never smoked a brown rolling paper before. What the fuck do I do with this? Mm-hmm. It's different. I'm scared of it. I just knew that they would like it if they tried it. So in the beginning, I gave a lot of it away. We would go to concerts, we'd go on tour with the Jet Life, any of this kind of stuff. All we were trying to do is give it away, not because of I wanted to give it away. If I can just get you to try it, you're going to love it, man. Trust me. I've smoked a lot of rolling paper, and the few people I've gotten to try this, my crazy hippie friends with the dreads and everything, they fucking love it. They say, oh, it's the greatest rolling paper they've ever smoked. I just got to get it into your sesh circle. Come on, get it to your friends. Try it, bro. Try it, please. Try
take it.
Right. It was like that in the beginning. And once I got into the fucking sesh circles, once I knew what I needed to do. Yep. Once I got into those sesh circles where I got people to try it, and you could tell who the dude was, especially with the stores, with anything, you knew who was the head of their sesh circle. You know, the guy who was like the real stoner. Like, give him the fucking box. Just get it out there.
That guy.
That guy. Get him paper. Get him paper. And once he would try it, I know he's going to love it. He's going to understand what I'm doing here. And they would smoke it, and it would taste different. There was no added calcium carbonate to it. It was just completely different. It wasn't bleached. Like, what the fuck is this? It tastes different. You got it in the sesh circle. Everybody smokes it. Everyone gets this experience that I'm trying to give them, which is more akin in my mind. I'm trying to give them the Jack Herrer experience, which he would tell me, a bunch of tribesmen around a campfire throwing hemp on the fire and inhaling the smoke. All right, what's that like? That's what I'm trying to give you with this paper. I'm trying to bring you back to that level. You know what I mean? As primal can be. And if I can just get you to experience it, you're going to fucking love it. So now you bring it to your sesh circle. You and all your friends try it. Everybody fucking loves it. They're like, I don't know what this is, but it feels right to me. It just feels
my lungs the right
way. It just feels like part of what like my history or something. I don't understand. It's like, it feels like biblical. I don't understand.
I should have always smoked this.
Right. Now, next time you go to a smoke shop, you're like, and if you ask a guy, what was that? Raw. Next time you go to that smoke shop, can I get a pack of Raw? Then you bring it into your sesh circle. Another 8 people, 10 people get to try it. Another sesh circle, another, until eventually all these sesh circles basically interconnect around the fucking planet, and Raw becomes like this massive, maybe one of the best-selling rolling papers of all time, you know?
Yep.
It's fucking awesome.
And that's the thing with weed products in particular is really you just have to make a good product.
Really good product.
Because it's, you know, when you're a business in this industry, this is one of the most social industries ever. You sell someone something, they're immediately going to take that and probably show it to like 10 of their friends, if not more.
Yeah.
You know, in some way they're going to see it. So like,
that's great, isn't it?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's super
fucking
great.
The social aspect of this industry, I think, is the best aspect.
There's so many different walks of life that all connect over a joint.
Yeah.
You know,
I think more than any other industry. As I think about it, I never really thought of this before. I wonder if it's the case that we are the most interconnected industry out of any industry on earth.
I think also the flip side of that is there's a lot of drama in this industry. And I think that in part is also because there's so many different personalities that are all connected by the joint, you know? It's an interesting thing though. I think that is one of the coolest things about weed though. You know, these products like advertise themselves. Like, yeah, you can run a commercial if you want, but it's not going to have nearly as much of an effect as like 100 stoners take your shit and go smoke with the homies with it. You know?
Yeah, I know.
That's going to spread like wildfire.
That's what I try to do.
So when you guys first launched the brand, you're just giving out all this free product.
Yeah.
How long did it take to actually find some success and realize like, damn, this is going to work out?
Years. It was selling in the beginning. It always sold. Just it wasn't strong. We also had it was difficult. Really difficult. Clear papers came out. I don't know if you remember the clear rolled.
Oh, the like completely clear ones that almost felt like plastic.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember those.
Those I made some of those too. I found out what they were made out of, so I made ones that I thought in my mind.
What were they made out of?
They're made out of basically it's plant cellulose that's been given essentially an acid bath that turns it clear, and then you add usually glycerin, some kind of glycol, in order to make it where it stays pliant, and that's how you make it. It's called it's really called cellophane. This is from Josh's understanding. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can here. So the cellophane is named that from cellulose. And it's before we had plastic, us humans, before we had real plastic, like petroleum plastic, we had cellophane. Early wrapping would have been cellophane. You would make it in this old process. You could smoke it if it was uncoated. You could smoke it because it's really just plant cellulose that's been given an acid bath and some glycols to keep it pliant. It's a very simple product. It burns black as fucking night and harsh as fuck in my experience.
Yeah, I don't remember liking them, but I remember the novelty was crazy.
The novelty was crazy.
It was like, yo, I could see the weed in there.
Yeah. And now, so it comes out, it has that big boom where everybody wants it for a second, and then boom, it falls off a cliff, and clear paper sales stop. All these distributors are stuck with pallets of clear papers, and now we're calling them saying, we want you to try this new paper. And they're like, I've already tried a new paper. Fuck you, go away. I'm like, no, this is different. It's not a clear paper, I swear. No, I'm good, man. I got lots of clear paper. Like, it's not a clear paper, I swear. We had a lot of resistance thanks to the clear paper fiasco. But little by little, it still grew because everyone in that session circle really wanted it. They would go out of their way. They'd travel miles and miles and miles to get that pack of raw. And because I come from a store background, I built the product in a way where I consider the store to be, in a way, like a sort of partner. I want them to make a really great margin, just like I did when I had my first store. I wasn't paying that much for the packs. I was making a great margin. I know what it's like to have a store. I know what it's like to have the feds kick your fucking door in with a machine gun. And little by little, though, people really wanted it. And what I was trying to tell you was I made it where the stores have a really good margin on raw because I love those stores. I know what they've been through. I know how hard it is to have a store. I believe they deserve a really great margin. So I built it into the product for them to really do well with it and to thank them. And that was part of our success because we brought the stores along with us.
Yep.
There's a business model people try to build, especially in the cannabis space, where it's like this. It's a reverse cone. I'm up on here making all the money, and you're down here. You're not going to make anything. I'm going to decide what margin you get. I'm sorry to use that voice, but I don't like these people that think this, these corporate types, you know, and they suck. And it's like, no, dude, no. The store will charge whatever the market will bear. The store gets to decide what the price is. Charge them as little as is fair.
That's really important for the culture, bro. Like, that's huge for the culture. There's not a lot of brands that really give a damn about the smoke shop, and smoke shops, especially nowadays, are struggling. It's tough.
I know.
Dude. Hard to run a smoke shop.
I know.
So,
I know.
I mean, that's love right there. That's super.
And
that's badass.
And we kept it that way for all this time. The last time I checked, and again, I could be wrong, many of our key competitors charge, are you ready? Basically double compared to what they pay for a box of raw. I don't know why. I think they're using some kind of tobacco pricing thing where they give kickbacks or some kind of weird shit that I don't understand. But I looked at it, and I was looking at what a certain competitor was charging for a box of raw they're equivalent to a raw 1 1/4. And I was like, wait, that's exactly double. It can't be. I must be looking at it wrong. But I don't think I was. So when I look at that, I'm like, you're trying to make it where the store isn't making much money, right? That's what you're doing. You're thinking you could charge that much. And I'm thinking, yeah, I could charge that much too, but I don't need to. I'll charge less. And then the store will make some more money, and maybe they'll even lower the price, and the consumer will pay less. Everyone's happier. I'm doing great. I don't need to raise my prices.
I mean,
this
I
is
think
awesome.
that's a big reason why, like, you guys are, I mean, at least in my opinion, the most recognizable paper brand, just from, like, all my years going to the smoke shop, Raw is always the one that's front and center. Always.
Yeah, people love it. They fucking love it.
And yeah, the shops, like if you go to a smoke shop and you ask the smoke shop, like, yo, what's a good paper for this? 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you Raw.
Yeah.
You know, when I was young and I'd do that with all my homies, and granted, it was guys who shouldn't have been selling to us because we were like 16. You know?
I don't know about that.
Even as an adult, too, you go into the smoke shop, you know, I ask, like, hey, I want to roll giant doink.
Yeah.
What's the best paper? They're probably telling me raw.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Most of the time. And you guys are also behind, or you yourself are also behind some of the other big name brands like Elements too, which is one of the biggest brands out there.
Yeah.
I always find it funny. I saw when I put out questions for this episode, there was one comment I got in particular. There was someone who said, "Can you ask him why raw papers, like why his papers don't smoke as good as his competitors, like Elements?"
I'm like,
I was like, dude, well, that's the same thing.
wait, again, remember what I said earlier? Every human being has more synapses in their brain than there are stars in the galaxy. We are all so unique. We're all so individual that person truly believes that whatever paper it is, or they tell me I like whatever paper Rizla better than yours. I'm like,
hey, that's
okay,
right,
dude, that's completely your choice.
Yeah.
You actually believe that. That's okay. I understand. You're an individual.
That's
and that's 100% what you choose.
their ball game.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm trying to and it's another reason why I make so many papers, because I'm trying to to like accommodate everybody and make everybody happy, which is impossible. But you go as far as you can.
So, as you guys had you started growing the brand, giving out these papers, really giving these smoke shops a lot of love and giving them these good margins where it kind of naturally encouraged them to push your product more. As that was playing out, obviously you guys make way more than just papers.
Yeah.
Like way more. When did that start?
Oh, from the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Right out the gates, you were just like, I want to make it all.
Well, yeah, because I remember in '93, I love paper, right? And all these people would come in my store, and I'd be trying to tell them they'd want to buy something, or I'd be like, and I would talk about rolling paper, and they would be like, "Nah, dude, I don't know how to roll." And I was like, "I'll teach you. Wait, come here, I'll show you." And they're like, "No, I'll never figure it out." So I started pre-rolling papers around a simple form that we had, and back then it didn't even have a tip. All right, it was conical, but it didn't even have a tip. And I would sell these it's called an H. Upman display. It was meant for cigar tubes, and I would drop in these pre-rolled tubes, like cone tubes with no tip, and sell it to people for like $0.25 a piece. And that way they wouldn't have to fucking roll a joint, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't know, there was my friend Arthur Vandenberg probably made cones before me. So I'm not saying I'm the inventor of cones. I think he made them before me. I really do. I love Arthur. He's a fucking good dude.
Shout out Arthur.
Yeah, shout out Arthur. Arthur Vandenberg, you know how much I fucking love you, man. You know. And, but on my own, this is long before I knew Arthur, I was making these fucking empty things and made them conical so you could fill them easier. And people fucking loved it.
Yep.
So I'm just telling you, it goes back that far. I wanted to make it where anybody could enjoy the experience of smoking in paper. And then little by little, it was like, then it's the next thing. I started making tips in the 80s myself out of fucking cardboard, like index cards from school, because I kept burning my lips.
Yep.
Back then we were using roach clips.
Oh.
And roach clips burned Josh's lips. Dude, I got big ass lips from my fucking heritage and shit. And I was, ow, ow, ow. My friends would make fun of me. They would call me Kessel lips.
Through?
No, they would call me Kessel lips because they knew I was going to burn my fucking lips. And so I started making spacers, is what I called it, just to get the fucking joint away from my face so I wouldn't burn my damn lips, because you had to smoke it to the end.
Yep.
So that was my first experience making tips, and that was like, 80s. And selling tips, well, I think that started in the 90s, man. Just like I had to make something to get, it was always an inventive phase. Back when I had my own sesh circles with my friends and shit, I remember whoever brought the coolest smoke gadget, like basically was like the king of the sesh.
Yep.
I showed up once I always talk this story because I fucking loved it. I showed up with a 6-hose hookah once, and we're talking like 1988 or something, god fucking year like that.
You were the man.
I showed up. I was the man of that fucking sesh, dude. That was the greatest sesh that had ever happened in the history of seshes. And me and my friend, you know what happened the next day? I knocked it over and broke it.
No.
I was fucking heartbroken. So
No.
I learned that bringing those cool ass fucking gizmos and gadgets and all the shit, it makes everybody laugh, makes everybody smile. It makes us all enjoy our sesh so much more, you know?
Yeah.
And I also learned I have to make shit more durable so that I don't end up with the heartbreak of the broken 6-hose hookah, which I couldn't believe I broke it, but I did.
Did you ever replace it?
No.
Really?
No, I never did. I never
legend
did.
Just rested in peace.
Rested in peace. I kept the hoses and we tried to build shit out of it. It never worked.
Oh, that's so tragic.
It could have been cool. So making cool stuff, gadgets, like this umbrella hanging over your head.
Yep.
It's I have a lot of fun doing it, and I love making people happy. And I see how much they giggle and fucking laugh at shit when we make these ridiculous things. When I made the helmet with 6 hoses on top, making it after the SpongeBob one, you know what I mean, with the 2 beer cans. And it just it's like, I know this, like when I'm making it, I'm not thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna make so much money. All I'm thinking about is, dude, this is going to be epic. This is going to be legendary. People are going to laugh their fucking heads off.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the stuff you make, like, when I see you post on Instagram about it in particular, that's where I see most of your stuff. Like, it's the most random stuff where it's like, who on earth is even buying this?
I don't
Like,
know.
9 out of 10 smokers are not going to use this. But then there's the 1 out of 10 guy who's probably jumping up and down.
Yeah, there is.
It's like, yo.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, yeah, that really comes through in the stuff you make because you make some of the craziest stoner accessories I've ever seen. In my life.
I know.
The ring you're wearing right now,
Yeah.
you can literally smoke a joint through that.
Yeah.
You sent me the 3 joint, like, what is it called?
The Trident.
The Trident.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sent me like 10 of those. I got them at my apartment right now.
Because I love the Trident.
It's
Trident's
awesome,
so funny.
dude.
I know, but it makes you smile. It makes us laugh, and that's what I want to do more of. I like making people happy, and these things definitely make people happy. The joint ring. This is the double barrel joint ring, by the way.
Oh.
It's called the championship ring.
Oh, wow.
So I can smoke 2 joints at once through it because I always have the next level shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the joint ring was one where I'd seen one before. Some guy, from the way I remember it, there was some guy, I can't remember what the fucking name of his company was, that he was making stoner rings like this. And I told him what I wanted. I even designed what I wanted. And he took a deposit from me and then ran away. No. And I was like, you son of a bitch. So I was like, no, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to make it on my own. And I made it even better than it had ever been. My goal for me was, I was in the clubs with my friend Eric, and I kept getting cup cough. I mean, fortunately, I'm allowed to smoke in the clubs. So we're smoking in the clubs, and someone in the circle has a cold and is lying to me about it.
Yeah.
The first rule, if you got a cold, don't hit it, bitch. No, I'm fine. Yet every time I was getting fucking sick. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to make something where, pass it to me, I stick it in the ring, I sit there with a lighter first before I fucking smoke. And none of this probably works, none of it is medically correct, I'm sure. But I sit there and first I torch this side here to kind of sterilize it.
Okay.
Then I put the joint in here, blow it cool for a moment, and
Good to go.
yeah, I'm good to go. I leave it on the finger usually, but depending on how I'm smoking, and it's like, it's great. And once I started doing that, and it's probably just coincidence, I'm sure it has nothing to do with anything other than coincidence, I stopped getting cup cough.
Oh, wow.
Finally! Ah!
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
So I started making things, so that leads me to make a double barrel one and silly ones and shit like that. So yes, they're fun, yeah, but sometimes once in a while, they're also great if it's soggy. If fucking Eric goobered on it, when Eric Cyril goobers on the joint and then passes it to me, which happens too often, I can put it in here and it's no big deal.
Eric's got to stop goobering on
Uber,
it, man.
Eric, you got to stop goobering, bro.
So do you have like a all-time favorite product that Raw's made?
Yeah, but it's simple.
What is it?
Raw 1 1/4 classic. That's the first one.
Okay.
That's the
All
first
right.
one, and that's the natural size of rolling papers.
Let's say that's not a paper.
Okay. Not
You
a
have
paper.
a favorite.
Yeah, the loader. I love the loader.
Ooh, okay.
The
All
loader.
right.
I wish I had one here. The loader is the thing to fill cones. It fills them like that. It costs just a couple bucks, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And it's one where I had been selling cones for so long, and I was trying to develop something to fill a cone easily for people, because I'm watching people in New York sitting there scooping, packing, little
Yeah.
scoop like that, pick up a little bit with their hand and put it
They'll
in there.
like push it in. On the
Yeah,
table
I'm watching
like
this
that,
happen.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, no, I need to make something. So I tried all these things. One time I made fingers that would grind like this. I would grippy fingers so you'd pick up and put it in there. I made all these cool things and none of them worked worth a shit. All these products. And I was really frustrated by it until one morning, I'm at my kitchen table and I knock over my water. I'm thinking about it. And I got frustrated. I was like, damn it. And I knocked over my water glass. It hit the floor and shattered into a gazillion pieces. I went and got a dustpan and a broom. And I sat there sweeping. And suddenly I realized, oh, shit. We humans have already basically invented this. I just need to make a dustpan and broom that continues into like a funnel. So you kind of dustpan make like a dustpan.
For the joint.
And then you have the funnel on the backside of the dustpan.
Yeah.
And have the joint there. Just fucking sweep it right into your fucking joint. This will fucking work. We realized, I learned from something called a cigarette shooter. It's a device that goes and fills a cigarette full of tobacco. I learned that there's a spoon-like device on it where it kind of, there's a way they made the spoon. I'm like, I know they made it that way so it goes further in and gives a better fill. I'll make it like that on the end. I took like knowledge I'd learned from different things. And in the end, it's a simple piece of lower static plastic with a freaking nice wooden poker. And you just slide it on your cone.
Just some
and
stoner science.
And yeah, and it costs so little for the consumer, right? The dude gets to buy it for just a couple bucks instead of some crazy electronic thing for $100. No, this thing is so simple. It fills the cone so well. You have control over it. You can actually pack it tighter down by the tip and a little looser towards the top, the way that Wiz and I like to fill our cones, you know?
Yeah.
You can do it right. And it was so simple. And I love that thing. I love that thing because it actually made it where we all got to consume our cones better.
Yeah. So then on the flip side of that question, did you ever have like a product that you guys made that just like did not work out, or you would consider a flop?
Lots of ones.
One stand out as like the one that was the worst?
The one that was the worst, that people didn't get as much as I wish they had.
Yes.
Ooh. Wow, man, there's been a lot of them. Which way do I go? Because I got some crazy ones that didn't work out at all when I tried to make something ridiculous. I tried to make a big blower fan raw device, and it didn't work out at all.
Oh, a blower fan.
Yeah, one time I tried to make something at home. I told Yoel about this. We called it the Master Blaster, and it was a combination of a dissected toaster oven to heat the stuff with a pan on top of it, so it would heat your stuff electrically. So you'd plug it in.
Yeah.
It would heat your stuff electrically. The coffee grinder to grind your stuff, and it's also to do it in one fell swoop. You put your weed on top, it grinds it, drops it onto the pan, it heats it up, and then blows it out through a vacuum around the vacuum cleaner, like a shop vac style, smaller one. So it would just be insert weed, smoke. And that did not work out at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. It sounds cool on paper, though.
Well, here's one of my products that really I felt should have made it and didn't. And it wasn't a raw product. It was the Elements Vapor Lighter. Yeah.
What is that?
It was a device that worked both as an electric lighter for joints and as a vaporizer. So the heating element could be used both ways. So one side opened up where you could use it as an electric lighter for your joint, and the other side, or the heat could go the other way, and you could use it to vape. Just pack it and use it as a vape. And I thought it was really, really, really cool and innovative, and it was a total flop, like heartbreaking style flop.
What made it flop? Was it just no one wanted
No
to
one
buy
wanted
it?
it.
Really?
Yeah.
And it worked well and everything?
It worked
was really
well.
just-
No, it was too. Just didn't. They didn't like it.
Do you
I
think
wish
you
they
might
had.
ever revisit it?
Now that I put it out here on the podcast, people are going to ask me to make it again.
100%. Yeah, I can see it now. Now that you
Bring
brought
back the
it up,
vapor lighter. Like, oh,
there's gonna be at least 50 comments on this lone episode. Like, yeah, make that shit.
I could do it again. I could make it again, but take your lumps, take your humps, and move the fuck on.
Yep.
And that's all I did with it. I was like, damn it, that should have worked and didn't fucking work. Damn it.
Do you have any crazy like upcoming stuff that you can leak yet, or is that?
I can leak like the one I was showing you over here.
Please do, yeah. So show everyone else what you were
Okay.
showing me.
Okay, well, like two things. This is not a leak. This is dropping like right now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
This one is I got three, but I brought with me, right? We have the raw ethereal king size wide. People asked me to make this one.
The ethereals kick ass.
The ethereals
Those
do
things
kick ass.
smoke good.
The ethereal is the most difficult paper to roll that I think we've ever put out.
I can't roll one personally. I am not good enough. But my homies can.
Yeah. And so we made it, if people really wanted a king size wide. It took us a while to put this out. We had to really, I'm never happy with them. You know what I mean? Like, I always think I could do better. I see when I look at this right, I'm like, I could have done better. But it's beautiful. It's ethereal in a king size wide, which is great for donuts. Just great for donuts and for fatter rolls. And then I've got, this is a prototype of a potential candidate for the 2026 ethereal paper. So this one, it's actually a slightly different paper, base sheet, very slightly different, and it's laid out differently. I find it to be more translucent. If you put it over something that's printed, like on top of this, you'll see how ridiculously translucent.
Oh,
The closer
wow. Yeah,
put
you
it,
can literally
see
read
right through it.
and
Yeah.
everything. And I even, as you were holding this paper up, there's a very slight difference.
Very
You
slight.
Notice it, yeah.
But here's the thing: when you get to this level, now it's all incremental improvements, very slight. I don't have the ability to make huge jumps anymore. Like when we first made the first raws, that was a huge leap forward for a smoke kind. You know what I mean? But then going from there to like raw black, well, now it's thinner. Okay, that's not. It's like
You've been dialing it in for so many
many
years
years.
that now it's just these little marginal
changes.
jumps.
Like
Yeah.
going from raw black to raw ethereal, about 20% thinner. Okay. I don't want to go 20% thinner than this because I don't really, my experience is I made an HESM test batch and it burned awful. So I'm not doing that. But it's just making it a little better. But if I can continue to do that, if you make a stack of small little changes, eventually it gets better and better, and then there's a real noticeable improvement. I don't want to stop doing that because if I do, I feel like I would die, you know? Like making these changes, making these improvements is like my lifeblood. I enjoy it so much. So yeah, so there's a test batch, which I brought you to try.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, bro.
Raw Ethereal RC1, Release Candidate 1 for 2026.
Nice.
See if you like it better. And then somewhere around here, are the raw.
Yes.
The mind
These
blowers.
intrigue me.
So this one was, I saw a lot of mushrooms out there that were not ones that I would personally take. the best way. Like I love natural mushrooms, of course, but when I saw the gummies in the smoke shops, and I was like, no, that's bullshit. Those are research chemicals, and I didn't like a lot of what I saw. So I made a point of making one that I would try. So instead, I found one that's an actual AME1 extract that is independently reviewed to be GRAS, which means generally recognized as safe. That is an FDA standard. So rather than using bathtub brewing, this is a very professional product, one that I personally don't mind taking. And
Interesting.
And it's an actual Amanita muscaria extract, so it gives you that really cool. Have you ever tried AME one?
I haven't, because 98% of the stuff on the market is like a cocktail of like Amanita, and then they're putting like kratom in there.
Yeah,
like
anything. No. So give this one a try. I find it.
I will, bro. I'm gonna let you know what I think about it.
It's a lot of fun. It made me not want to leave. The only thing, maybe I went too far with it, as I often do.
Yeah.
But I really did not want to leave the house in bed for a while, and it was really cool and mellow, and I really enjoyed that nice break. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So this is the Raw Mind Blowers. I'm hoping people are gonna fucking love this one.
I mean, these are awesome.
Yeah, we're doing them in small batches to get feedback, and once I get more and more feedback, then I'll release more, and then I'll release more. But I want to make sure people really like it before I.
Tonight when I get home, I'll pop these when I hop on the couch.
Make sure you're done for the day, though.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I still got to drive home after this, so we'll save those for later. No, that's getting from up here actually. But once I get home, though.
The thing is, like with new products, I could do this all day. I've got so many things in the works or that we just did. There's always something fun to do, because this is like, okay, where it really comes from. And I know that you've been there.
Yep.
You're sitting around with your friends having a fucking sesh, and someone says, what would be really cool?
Dude, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So much of the stuff I do is that.
That's my life.
Yeah.
That's really what's like.
That's a great way to live, bro. I think that's like, there's a lot of the stuff on the shelves in the industry today doesn't come from that. Like, it comes from just like,
how can I make money?
What's going to make us the most money?
Yeah, I know. I know.
And there needs to be more people like you in the industry, bro. Straight up. There really does, There's not enough.
I meet some really cool
stoners.
dudes, like the sisters or Woody Harrelson and these kind of people.
Yep.
There are some really, really good people out there. It's just the ones that seem to be the loudest are not always the best. I hung out with Jerry from Zushi. Brought me. He knew I was
sick.
I had a medical procedure yesterday, as you know, and he knew I wasn't feeling well. So he made a point of coming to the hotel and brought me a fucking gift bag of stuff.
Sick.
And like, you have good people like that still. And Jack the Plug came through just to say hi for a second. And it was like just so nice seeing old friends like that. Fucking making a point of driving like a fucking hour from Calabasas just to give me a fucking bag of stuff that's going to help me feel better. Like, thank you guys. Thank you, by the way, guys. I really appreciate it. That was really heartfelt. That kind of stuff is like, there's still a lot of good people in here.
Yeah.
There's just some really loud ones that aren't necessarily, that their heart is more. And by the way, they're not bad people. They're just people that they're focused because of maybe an upbringing or something that happened to them.
Something different.
They're focusing on money rather than focusing on passion and style and love. And I'm going to make the coolest one that ever existed in the history of smoke kind. Like, those are the dudes I love more than anything,
Yeah.
And like, when I meet them, I'm like, dude, we are friends. We are friends right now. We're always going to be friends.
Doing.
I know. I love you, bro. So those are the kind of people that of course, I wish the industry was full of that. I wish the world was full of that. But how do you get people to move more towards that when the society that you and I live in is actually telling them, you will go to school, you will grow up, you will get a job at Amazon. Like, what the fuck?
You'll be like everyone else.
You'll be like everyone else. Sheep, 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 sheep. No. Humans don't want to do that, man.
And for some people, that does work, bro. I mean, for some, it does.
Yeah, but are they happy that way? That's what I wonder.
Probably not 100%.
I want them to be happy.
Yeah, and there's no shame in the game doing that. But yeah, in an ideal world,
there's definitely no shame in it. I've done it too. I was a stock boy, ice cream scooper, all that stuff.
Yeah, I worked at a car dealership before I started doing this. So.
That's hard work. That's hard work.
Man. I didn't get into sales. I was just starting the sales when I quit. I was starting the internet sales, but they had me on the phones before, and that was not fun.
It's
not fun.
No, not fun. I've done so many jobs like that in my early days, and yeah, I found myself realizing I was selling hours of my life. And I that feeling of you're selling hours of your life for not much money, it really, it like hurt. And I vowed that I would be free. Like, my goal when I opened my first store was not to be successful. It wasn't like, I'm going to make a bunch of money. No, it was like, I'm going to be free. And that I just want to be fucking free. I don't want to become, I get yelled at for this. Because they wanted me to be an accountant. They, meaning like society, wanted Josh to be an accountant. I'm good with numbers. Not even that great with them. Josh was supposed to be an accountant. And I really did not like working with numbers. So I did not want to be an accountant. And I saw the accountants and they were not happy. So my goal was to be free and not be an accountant. And when my store anything else, when my store started making some money, I was like, oh my God, if I can just keep doing this, I won't have to be an accountant. This is going to be amazing. I'm going to be free. I can just live my life and just be fucking whatever the fuck I want to be. Yeah. I can grow my fucking hair weird and just funny. I can do whatever I want. I just want it to be free. And then the success came on its own, not because I was really chasing it, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a very important thing for people to hear, because there's going to be a lot of people that watch this and they're going to want to ask, like, well, Josh, how did you find success initially? Like, how do you even get out of the workforce like that? And for me, at least, I hold a personal belief where, like, I think if you really genuinely apply yourself to something, you can do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
Like, the people who are in the positions that, like, you're in, for example, you applied yourself for years and years and years, and you really wanted to be there, which is why you got there.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it.
I think, like, a lot of people look at maybe where you're at, or maybe also where I'm at too, doing what I do, and they're like, oh, that's luck. But there is some luck involved.
There is some luck involved.
But it's not like we just woke up one day and it's like, oh, raw papers. Look. They're like, I just woke up and I'm like, oh, I got a podcast studio. You know, it's like, it took years of like, damn, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go balls to the wall, you know? And that's something that all you guys watching out there, especially the younger folk that are in my audience, go for it, man. You know, for real. That's an important way to live your life. And like, when you're young, you only really get a certain time frame where there's low risk to do that. You know, and the older you get, the longer you wait to just say, fuck it, I'm going for it, the harder it's going to be.
Do it, yeah.
You know,
you're going to have a lot of things holding you back. They're going to tell you have to stay in that job because you have to support a family, all these things. It's a lot harder to say, fuck it. I was living in a storage shed, my friend Mike Feinberg's storage shed behind this freaking house he was in the beginning days. I wouldn't have to pay rent on a place. And I would also sleep in my store. Listen, I didn't mind doing it. It wasn't like, oh, poor me. I loved those days, dude. It was so much fun. I didn't care. I was so tired by the time I got home. I didn't mind jumping over the lawnmower into the fucking bed in the storage shed. I didn't care at all. I was so happy. Yeah. Just enjoying the fucking shit out of the store.
Just that freedom.
The freedom. Yeah. The freedom was amazing. I was finally free. And the thing you're talking about to the audience, the thing I try to teach them also is I worry that they're going to learn, and I'm probably wrong about this, by the way, but I worry that they're going to learn from certain people they see online. I didn't have investors. I didn't have I still don't think I really have investors. I don't know, maybe a couple of my friends, but no, not really. No, we don't really have investors. We don't really have banks. It's just built up the way that a business should be. Like, hey man, you buy some of this. Yep. You sold it. Now you made a little bit of money, so you take that money, you reinvest it and buy more of it. And then you made some more money.
You have the freedom and the control that you have today to do this, you know, the fun products.
Yeah.
Hook up the smoke shops.
Yeah, there's no board of fucking center saying, no, you must. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like that. And people can't believe it. Like, I know, man, we're a really loosely run organization because we didn't have to become formal. We didn't have to become corporate. But the lesson there is, all right, in your business, when you start your business, and I really hope you do, because keep in mind, the thing that people need to understand is realistically, what I believe is who's ever watching this, you're probably younger and smarter than me. And hopefully you don't have a felony conviction like me, because that makes it harder to get jobs. It really does. So hopefully you have more, that means you have more opportunity and more space than I have. And you hopefully have more time than me. Dude, I'm in my fucking 50s now, motherfucker. You probably got some more time than me. And time is incredible. It really is. That really helps. So I want you to be successful. I want you to open your business. Ideally, if you're following my path, it's going to be on a very small scale. Because if it works on a small scale, whatever it is that you're doing, well, you can always scale it up. But if you start on a bigger scale and it doesn't work, well, you're kind of fucked, you know? And failure is no big deal. You learn a shitload of lessons from that. I've definitely learned more from my failures than I have any of my successes, unfortunately. But I still want them to do it. I want them to, if they were, you know, and for me, of course, I'd love it if you open a smoke shop, but it doesn't matter what you're selling or what you're doing. Start the business, even on a small scale in the world. See if it works. If it does, scale it up a little bit, continue to grow it. Try to hold on to your own destiny. Try not to bring in investors. Investors, you are essentially getting married. And it's really hard to get out of that marriage you're about to sign a contract into. Harder than you think. So try not to bring in an investor. Try to borrow money from friends, max out credit cards. That's what I did. Things like that in a way where you can pay them back and maintain your own freedom. If you end up, they invest 100 grand in your business and they get 50% of it, that 100 grand you're just married that person for 100 grand. You just gave away half of your life for that 100 grand. What if instead you found a way to borrow it, to do anything you could to make it or even start it smaller so you don't need that 100 grand. So it's even smaller. And now you actually own it and you really own it yourself and you build it up successful. You pay back whatever you borrowed and now you've got it and it's all you. Imagine the freedom of that and the space. Now you can do it any which way you want. Instead of someone who's going to yell at you, say he wants a return on his investment. Not with me, dude. I do stupid shit all the time. Imagine they fucking yell at me about my umbrellas. I probably put up, it took me like years to make that umbrella. No corporate board in the world is going to let Josh make an umbrella. Like, dude, what do you want to make an umbrella for? Because it's going to be funny. Dude, I want to make a skateboard that looks like a giant cone so that when I'm in New York City skateboarding and people look down on me, they're going to look down and it looks like I'm flying down the road on a burning fucking cone. The board's going to be like, no, we voted on it.
Yeah,
we said no.
We veto this.
We voted
using our executive veto.
Come on. We want you want freedom to just to experiment, to explore, to enjoy your business and set it up in a way that makes you happy.
Yeah, because I think that also is what brings the most success too. When you naturally love what you're doing, that shines through.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's going to see that, and that's going to make your product better.
I hope so.
You know? 100%. I hope so too. You know, with my content, I sure fucking hope so.
Yeah, your content is fucking awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate that. That's a great compliment. Your papers are awesome. So, kind of moving, you know, a little back in the direction of Raw today. You know, we've talked a lot about your products. There's also a lot of questions around like the future of papers, and you've kind of talked about how like you guys have reached the peak of how you can improve.
Pretty much.
You know? Do you think there is eventually going to be some, like, the next big leap where you guys were the leap from these chalk papers to these natural unbleached papers? Do you think there could be some other big leap in the future, or are we really at the apex of papers?
My personal belief is we're basically at the apex of rolling papers. I don't know what I could do or what could be done to make it, to get that kind of jump that where it went from white to raw. Mm-hmm. I don't know where that kind of thing would happen again. We've done so many cool things and so many experiments, but there's never that like, it's like, what's the next iPhone is essentially what you're saying. Mm-hmm. It's that initial jump, that big technological thing. Everything after that is incremental. There are small increments, like I'm showing you. I'm going to continue to mess with the papers.
Yep.
I'm setting up a factory in Spain, hopefully in about a year, to do something which I can't talk about because Slugworth is going to watch this. To make something in a way that's never been made before in Spain, and it's going to be incredible, just incredible, because it's everyone's going to see it. It's going to be fucking beautiful, and so I'm always looking at ways to improve. I'm always trying to make it better. I just don't know if that giant jump will ever happen again.
So do you think, as a company, a lot of your guys' products, you've kind of reached the apex of these papers for the flower smokers. Would you guys ever explore a product for the hash heads or the concentrate users?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done any products for them before?
Yeah, we've done some various things. We did parchment papers and that kind of stuff for them.
Oh,
truly
okay.
ancillary. A few tools here and there. At the moment, there's a really great electronic vape. It's a disposable, unfortunately. It has to be the way it works. And one of the C-cell ones. And I tested it out, and that thing was fucking awesome.
C-cell kicks ass.
Yeah, I know. And so I want to pack this one with a particular type of live hash rosin and make it where people get it's sad that it's disposable, but it's fucking badass.
Is it that? Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about. It's that little like it's almost like teardrop shaped, and it has the little.
No,
like,
not quite teardrop. This one's more. Maybe it is kind of teardrop.
It's almost like a bowl where like it has this little glass dome on it, and you load it.
No. This is this one's more. I don't know what you call that shape. Flatten uphill.
Okay. All right.
I'll show you when it's ready. I'll show you when it's ready. I like that one a lot.
I'm intrigued because there's one that sounds kind of similar that I know about that I don't know what it's called or anything, but it's like it's almost like a bowl, like a little pipe, but instead of packing it with flour, it has a little atomizer in there, and you pack it with dabs, but you're meant to throw it away after like 2 dabs.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So,
yeah, these kinds of things. They're small.
Yeah,
they're small uses.
A lot of e-waste, it seems like.
Yeah, the e-waste is the part that I really dislike. That's, but I have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And out of everything I've tried, this one gave the best experience. I'll send you one, and you'll tell me what you think.
Please do.
I'm
excited to check that out.
Yeah, because in this case, I'm just trying to get together stuff in a way that I couldn't find it. I'm trying to build a product that I was able to find for myself.
Yep.
And for joints, I want to make joints eventually too, just because I want to make them a certain way that people aren't listening to me about making them. Yep. Like I'm really specific. I got I've got the cone, the filling machine, I've got the grinder. I know exactly how I want it to be, and I want it to be done with OG strains, like literal OG Kush, Bubba Kush, things like that. I want to bring stuff back. In the beginning, I only want to go back. I want to go back and bring back the shit that me and my friends miss.
That was actually one of the things I was about to ask you about. Like, you're a real vet of the game.
Yeah. What
are some of those strains that you'd really want to bring back?
Oh, there's a lot. I don't want to say them all because I'm going to give away some of what I'm about to do. But like as I mentioned, I love Bubba Kush. Yep. I really do. I love the OGs. I even want to go back as far, just for fun, bring back some fucking Sensimilia. Like old school, you know what I mean? Like Buddha says. I want to bring back some of the old things so that people can experience that and see what we're talking about when we're saying that weed doesn't hit the same now. I love the modern strains. I really do. But I miss those ones, and no one's really fucking with them that I've been able to find. So I want to fuck with some of those and bring it back just for people to try, not on a huge scale. And nope. This is going to be all done in more... I'm not trying to become True Leave.
Yeah.
I want to do it on a small
Please
scale.
don't.
No.
Oh, God.
I want to do it on a small scale for fun. Something that we would enjoy doing and where we wake up every day and be like, you know what we should do today? That kind of stuff.
We got to grow this shit.
Yeah, we got to grow this shit.
Terps,
Yep.
So there's a lot of people in the market right now. I've noticed a big trend of OGs kind of coming back. And a lot of people are saying that like, oh, I've got the cut. I've got the OG again. Do you think that anyone's really got it right now, or are they just kind of all like...
No, I think some of them really got it.
Really?
Yeah, because some of the stories I've been told, unless I'm being lied to over and over, which I don't think so. The Bubba Kush has been the hardest one for me to find so far, the one that I'll approve for Bubba Kush. But some of those OGs are real OGs.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I just haven't found it yet. I feel like I've been searching for that stuff that I used to smoke when I was younger. I just can't find it.
Shout out to Keith Kaplan. He's got it for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to meet Keith.
Keith.
I need to fucking meet Keith. Keith.
He'll tell you the story.
Keith fucking send me an Instagram DM.
He's got Skywalker
please.
OG, like real. He's got a great cut.
He has real Skywalker.
Real Skywalker OG, and he'll tell you the story where he got it from. It's real Skywalker OG.
Keith, I need to get in touch.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch, Keith. So, you bring back the Bubba. You bring back the OG. I feel like we need more good lemons back too.
Yeah.
There's not very many real lemons.
See,
left.
it's all going to be based on request. And first, I'm fucking with the ones that me and my friends are missing. But then it'll be just like the store in 1993, where it's like, hey, what else do you want me to try to bring back for you?
Yep.
And I'm never going to sell bags of weed. Like that's not my plan at all.
Yep.
I just want, because I really want to just make you the right pre-roll. Because I got heartbroken by some of the pre-rolls out there. And
dude, the pre-roll market is brutal. I recently I did a thing where I had probably like 20 or 25 pre-rolls, and it was dispensary, hemp industry, all in between, and I gutted all of them. And I saw some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen.
I know.
Like weed that was literally black.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
quote unquote infused. And this is a premium product that I'm not going to name the brand.
Yeah, then we'll just get mad.
But
I've seen it too, and it breaks my heart. I've tried to talk to some of these guys. One of them in particular in Arizona, I was trying to talk to them because I tested one of their pre-rolls and it smoked like shit, and I knew what they were doing wrong. The minute I smoked it, I felt it with my hand. It's me, dude. I could feel a goddamn joint, and I know what you did wrong.
Yeah.
I know what they did wrong. I even know how they did it. And I went and tried to talk to the guy, and I was explaining to him, I think you did this. And I'm telling him what he did, where I think he's using like a knockbox. I think he put weights on top of it at the end. So he ended up, without realizing it, he's packing the first third really tight, and the other 2/3 is kind of loose. So then you go to pull through it, and the thing won't pull, man.
Yep.
The first third smokes like shit. The first quarter smokes like absolute shit. And I believe, because I've seen this before enough times, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing wrong. And I can just go there. I'm telling you, I can come to your facility, and I'll teach you. I wouldn't have to get a new machine. You don't have to do anything. I'll just teach you how to change your process. It'll take you a little bit longer. It really will. But it's going to be so much better. Let me come through. I'll teach you. We're good. I'm like, no, wait, dude, it's me.
How could you deny that?
I know. I'm like, it's me, man. Like, you know what I mean? Normally I've sold like maybe 1 trillion cones or something stupid like that.
you know what
maybe
you're
you want to
talking
listen to
about
me. I can teach you how to fill this better. And I really know this stuff. You know, let me come through. I'm going to teach you. It'll really free, man. It's free. No, Josh, we're good. I'm like, motherfucker. Like, why won't you fucking listen to me?
They don't care.
I don't know. They don't care. Yeah, or
They're
ego
making their
takes place.
money, bro.
They're making their money. They're like, we're selling plenty. He kept saying that to me.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. No, that's not fair to the smoker. Because now you think that you're going to blame my fucking cone for that. You're going to think my cone smokes like shit.
Well, I
because
guarantee the guy you've spoken to probably has never smoked one of those in his life. So that's why he kept probably reiterating to you, we sell so many, because he can't tell you how they smoke.
Yeah, you're
He's
right.
probably never smoked one.
They're putting it in raw cones. You understand why I was upset?
Oh, yeah, I'd be livid if I were you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a bad look for your brand.
I think people are going to blame the cone.
Yeah,
and it's not the cone's fault.
They're going to hit it. They're going to spark it. They're not going to get a hit. They're going to look. They're going to be like, this fucking raw paper.
It's the paper.
You know, and in reality,
I smoked this. I don't remember what brand. I don't remember what. He's not going to remember the brand name of the joint.
Yeah.
He's going to blame me because my name's on the tip. That's the way I look at it. So I really wanted to fix it. They wouldn't listen to me, and that made me where I was like, you know what? We're going to start making some goddamn joints eventually. I don't know when, but eventually we're going to make them right. And as soon as I do that, everyone's going to follow my formula, and they're going to listen to me. And then finally, now they listen to me. Now
needs you right now, dude. Especially since hash holes have blown up recently and become the current big rage in the legal market, at least. Dude, it's disgusting. The current, I mean, you can go to the dispensary right now. They have these hash holes that are like $20, and they'll have half a gram of hash and 2 grams of flour, which just fundamentally that doesn't make sense. Something's wrong.
Something's wrong to begin with.
You know, and you got those, and oh my God, it's gross, dude. How do you feel overall about hash holes as a trend, though? Do you like it? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's a waste?
No, I don't think it's a waste. I think it's great in a way. I think like 10 years from now, it might not be as big of a thing. I think I think human nature-wise, I believe we will get sick of it.
Yeah.
Especially if federal legalization happens, they start taxing the amount of THC is what they're talking about. I'm
already sick of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've already slowed down on them.
I know. A lot of. I keep hearing that from people. That's why I said it.
Yep.
Like I really enjoy hash holes. I love hash holes. I want to make that clear. I just think that it's kind of like your favorite candy that you stop eating eventually. But I love them. I really do. They're awesome. They're just Josh's belief. I don't like talking about myself in the third fucking party. I don't know how else to say this kind of shit sometimes. You know what I mean? But like my belief is that we as humans are going to return to natural because that is what is natural to us. And of course I could be wrong. Maybe it's hope. But I want to you build the world you want to live in. So I just, when I see the trend, when I talk to my friends that have been smoking for a while and I'm watching what they're doing now, it's like they went away, they went towards hash holes, they were vaping or doing all the shit. And then suddenly I see them back to rolling fucking joints. And then I'm back to fucking going back to old school. And then I'm just like, I've seen this journey so many times that I believe it's our journey, not just their journey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a collective journey.
We're
all of us as stoners.
We return to back where we came from.
Even just people, not just stoners. All of us. Yeah, we're heading back. We're going back. We got a limited amount of time, and then we're going back.
As I sit here with you to this moment, I miss combustion all the time.
There's something about that joint, you know?
It's not just that joint. It's the way it makes me feel. It causes the neural network to fire in a certain way. Solutions to problems are formed. New ideas all happens after I've really smoked the fuck out. However, edibles, I don't get that one particular experience. I'll get loopy, I get wasted, I'll get all this stuff, but I'm not getting that. And because of that, I really miss smoking. It's been a couple weeks now that I haven't smoked. I'm lucky that I can still use edibles. I know I got friends who have to go cold. That sucks.
That's brutal.
I'm lucky that I'm able to enjoy edibles, and I am enjoying them, but it's just not the same.
That first smoke back.
I'm so excited, dude.
Incredible.
No.
It's going to
I'm so excited. So excited.
I won't talk about it too much more. I can tell you're already itching for it. The moment that we started talking about smoking, you were like, combustion, and you just sat right up.
I know. I really enjoy it. Like, maybe too much, but it's like, it isn't the same. It isn't the same. I wish it was the same. I saw you vape a moment ago, and I was like, it's not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I know. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to take too fat of rips. I put my bong away, you know, because I don't want to combust in front of you. I'll vaporize. I won't combust, though, out of respect. So another thing that I'm curious about, too, while we're on this whole roll of just stoner questions, you know, we're talking about all the sesh stuff. I'm sure everyone wants to know, and I'm especially curious, what's the fattest joint that you've ever rolled?
That I've rolled, not ever smoked. Ever rolled?
That you personally ever rolled up?
Oh gosh, she's a well. There's one right now that doesn't count because it's really more of a. So I guess the 7-pounder. Yeah, 7-pounder.
A 7-pound joint?
A 7-pound joint. Yeah, it's 4 feet long. It's on video. I'm wearing a flame suit. It looks like I'm in space. And
Can you send me that video when we're done?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God. We'll overlay it, so we'll roll it.
It didn't smoke that well, but it was fun.
Oh, those giant joints. I mean,
I've gotten better now. But the thing is, you learn. Like knowledge is a ladder. I've learned how to make much better giant joints. Yeah. I've learned how to plumb them in a certain way. And one of the trick is I've really learned I have to let it form within the plum and leave it alone for at least a day before I remove the plum. Trying to keep that thing in there, and then it needs to be completely set up before I remove the plum, or else it'll collapse. If I can keep that plum in there. And everyone actually listens to me. Torch it. Do not pull. Do not pull while torching. Don't do it.
Everyone does their job.
Everyone does their job. Torch. Let me know when it's red. Let me know when it's red. We'll go up there, and then we're blowing on the cherry, like making sure that it's all red perfectly. Okay, it's red. It's red. Okay, hit it. I can make this coming down through there. A few hits. Bring it down through the center. I've gotten really good at it now. Like I wish I was this good in 2012, man. I really was. I really do. Just because I've lost so many bad joints over the years. Yeah, I collapsed a Marty Missile the other day. That smoked terrible, by the way. I didn't like that one. But there's so many other ones out there that if I just can take my time, it'll come out fine.
Yeah.
There's a science to it, like an art.
Mm-hmm. Rolling is an art.
Yeah.
100%.
But the giant ones is a particular art.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. It is completely different. So for those out there watching who have never rolled a joint, or maybe they suck at it, what advice would you give to them? How would you, as a new roller, learn how to roll?
The easiest way is, hey, someone give me a pen. You got a pen? It's so easy. I have a style of teaching.
I have a pen somewhere around.
I'm sure we do. We just need a pen or any kind of cylindrical thing like that.
I got a Q-tip. I mean,
that's a little too.
Hot knife. Oh, hot knife? That might work.
That's round. Even a magic marker.
Oh yeah, we do have I think a Sharpie on that table. Is there? Yeah, that'll work.
That'll probably work.
What are these?
Yeah.
What are those?
Okay, so whenever I'm trying to teach someone how to roll the first time, oh, that's kind of cool. Look. Oh no, it goes the wrong way. It's like it's kind of conical, but no, no, it kind of is. But no, I'll end up getting marker on it, so I won't use this one. I'll use this one here, and we'll take out the wide, so it'll wrap around it.
Okay.
The first trick I always try to teach people when it's time to roll. It's very simple. You have to train the brain to roll. Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of repetitive motions so that it goes into your brain. So the first thing is going to be take a hard form like a pen. Take your paper, wrap it around it, just enough like that. Hold it down with your thumbs, and just twirl it right up like that, okay? Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to ask them to repeat that like 3 times, maybe even more, over and over again, just so that you get that coordination where it's like, I can roll.
That motion
the brain's
is just
got, I can roll.
brain.
And then I'm going to ask them to do the same thing again, maybe with half of the pen. Because now we're going to turn the pen eventually into a tip.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just use half the pen this time. We'll bring it up. I'll go this way, right to left, left to right. I can. Doesn't matter. And we'll do the same thing again, where we just kind of twirl it over there, smooth it out, and roll it up like that. And then we're going to do the same thing over and go and do that a few times until eventually we have it just less of it. And you see we're getting to the point where this pen is essentially the size of a tip. And that's how I teach them how to roll, to start with. Because
that's a good beginner roll.
Once they have the thing, then I'll teach them often the pinch, where I'll put now let's make a pen out of your weed. And so you put some weed in there and you pinch like this. It isn't pinch, people think like that. It's a motion. Mm-hmm. You're pushing down. You form it into a core. Essentially, in your mind, you realize, I'm going to make my weed look like a pen. And once I've done that, I know I can roll over it. It's so easy. I believe I've taught millions of people around the world with the videos and stuff how to roll a joint. I hear from people all the time. And I teach them tricks and nuances and all this stuff. Once you get going, once you started, once that first time you've rolled your paper over a pen, you're on a journey. And the journey ends with you being a great fucking roller. And as long as you keep going, you're going to get there. So that's the easiest way I've ever found to teach people.
That's a pretty fucking thorough way of teaching. I don't think I've heard that before either. Most people are just like, oh, we'll just keep trying.
No.
You know? Like, just do it and fuck it up over and over.
Okay, there's a story behind this. Mm-hmm. When I first started doing videos on teaching people how to roll joints, I couldn't believe it. I went online and looked at, okay, let's look at what's out there already. Because why do so few people know how to roll joints? And the videos were, let me show you how fast I can roll a joint.
So the viewer's learning nothing.
Nothing. Watch this. Like, okay, I get it. You're cool, bro. I understand. Can you teach them how you did that? Do you mind? No, they were just, not everyone, but what I was seeing were people mostly showing how they could roll. In the parties I was at, I realized that my friends were like yelling at me not to teach so many people how to roll a joint because they wanted to be, they're like, dude, if no one knows how to roll a joint but you will always smoke for free, bro. Yeah! Right, so that was their mantra. Yeah. And they would yell at me when I'd be teaching people how to roll joints. Dude, you're ruining it for me, asshole, you know? So I feel like it was a magic trick, how to roll a joint, that not everyone knew, and the ones who knew didn't want to share. And I was like, fuck that. We all get higher together is my belief. I want the whole world. I want everyone to know how to roll a fucking joint. I want Dolly Parton to know how to roll a fucking joint. All of them, you know what I mean? So then I started doing my videos, and I started looking for ways where rather than teaching you how I roll a joint, which is pretty nuanced, I wanted to teach them easy ways. I wanted to make a technique where if my grandmother was here, I wish she was still here, by the way, I really do, she was fucking badass, that I could teach her how to roll a joint. If she can figure out, if she can do it, then anyone can do it. So I just started developing techniques like the tip tuck and showing all these cool things and developing all these different methods and styles of rolling like Wiz Khalifa's boat. I went and learned that one just so I could teach it, and all these different things just to make it where everybody can roll a fucking joint. And then I'm like, okay, after I was done with it, I was like, you know what? There's probably even easier ways. There's probably another nuance. There's probably another trick. There's probably another level to it. It keeps going up. Yep. Now I feel like so many people know how to roll a joint, and I'm so happy about it.
Joints are more popular than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I see everyone smoking joints. You
And
know?
the joint you roll yourself, again, this goes back to how individual you are. Mm-hmm. Because you rolled it yourself, and because you know so much about it because you rolled it, in a way, I believe you enjoy it more. You know? Mm-hmm. You're more connected to the plant and the joint with the one you rolled yourself.
Even if it's not rolled as well as it could be, because you rolled it, you're going to be sitting there like, damn.
But you touched the weed with your hands. Mm-hmm. You got signals through your fingers to your brain. You already know the consistency of it.
I left my mark on that joint.
Yeah.
You know?
You're already one with it.
I'm in there. I'm smoking myself.
You are one with that joint.
Now. Yep. Damn, I never thought about it like that. I need to roll some more joints so I'm more connected, you know? Well, I guess packing my bowl, I'm a bong rip guy personally, if I'm being honest. Most of the time though. But when I want to smoke like a fat J, it's usually a raw black.
Okay.
The raw blacks are what I like.
Which size?
The king size.
Wide or slim?
Slim.
Okay.
King size slim raw black.
That's like super. That's like fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love those.
Yeah.
You know, they fucking smoke, they burn smooth. But I don't even remember where I was going.
Your favorite way to roll a joint is, and you were talking about your favorite paper. I think you were telling me why you don't want to roll, or come on, we're gonna tell me. Come on.
Oh fuck! It was
hit me. I
don't fucking know. Either way,
short-term memory loss. It's a thing, man. It's okay.
Yeah, I smoke too much weed, man. The raw black king size slims are the papers I typically use when I do roll a joint. Although normally I'm a bong rip guy, but I don't get as much of a connection with it when I'm packing a bong because I'm just putting it in the bowl. I'm not really loving it and working it and putting it in that joint, So the joint, yeah, I feel almost like more proud. It's like every time I roll a J, it's like I want to take a picture of it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, oh, look at this shit, dude.
I realized something.
I'm trash at rolling joints.
When I was talking to Thomas the other day, I totally forgot. We were talking about meditation and different ways to meditate. And I completely forgot that rolling a joint is the purest form of meditation. You are in that moment. You are concentrating on a small task. You are focused. All your problems in life, all of the person you're supposed to call back at that due date of bullshit, it's all gone. And you're sitting there concentrating on rolling this joint. In that moment that I was even rolling on the pen, I was at peace. And I believe that when you're rolling a joint, you are meditating. That's one of the greatest things about it.
Yeah, damn. I need to actually roll more. I'm lazy, so I use the cones 85% of the time.
Cones are great.
They're amazing because I'm also just not very good at rolling joints. I grew up rolling blunts. That's what my friends.
Blunts are easier to roll.
They are so easy, dude. And I remember when I first tried to learn rolling a joint. I rolled my first joint, or I tried to, and I was just like, yo, what is this shit? Immediately just rolled a blunt right after.
Yeah.
And then, over the years, slowly, I can roll a functional joint now, but no one else is going to want to hit it. I'm going to have to face it. So, that's why I run with the cones now. But I need to learn more so I can be a little more connected.
I'll send you, after this,
well, I have all this.
Yeah.
You also, I don't even know if you realize how much you already sent me. I got 3
I remember the box.
Boxes, bro.
I told the guys to put something together because I was trying to show you respect. And I was like,
I got 3 huge boxes to my door, and the first one said flammable on it because it had the lighters in it.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me that you were sending that. So I got this giant flammable box to my door, and I'm like, I don't think I ordered anything. I checked my Amazon, I checked my eBay.
You're scared to open it?
Bro, yeah, I brought it inside. I told my girl, I was like, all right, if we blow up, it's been real. Take the cats to the other room.
Yeah.
Fucking I opened the box, and I realized it's literally filled to the brim. When you guys, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, which you should by now, damn it. Well, actually, my Instagram just got banned, so follow my new one, GBLNV2. But I posted it on Instagram. I opened the box, and it's literally filled to the brim with, I think, every paper you guys have ever made that I can see, dude. I mean, it was literally full. Thank you for that, by the way. I mean, that's a fucking
I was
awesome
upset that
gift.
I hadn't sent you stuff earlier because I thought you were on our list of people I send stuff to.
Yep.
And when I talked to you, I'm like, oh my God, you're not on the fucking list. What an asshole I am. I can't believe I hadn't fucking
Dude,
sent you
that doesn't make you. I don't expect any free
No, but
stuff
I know,
that.
but I like to send. I thought I was sending you stuff. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it turned out I wasn't. So the reason why I got that big box is I was trying to make up for the fact that I hadn't sent you stuff before.
Dude, fucking thank you for
You're
all the
welcome.
generosity. Because I literally, all my homies that have come over since I got that box, it's just like, yo, do you want any smoking accessory
In the world,
Because I basically run a smoke shop now, but it's free. It's like you ever see the Mr. Beast video where he bought out a grocery store and like had a... That's basically my apartment right now for stoners. It's like, over. All right, guys, I've got every raw product ever. Come over. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So now that we've covered a lot of your kind of stoner preferences, we've got one of my favorite parts.
Okay.
Is always one of my favorite parts, the fan questions.
All right.
And this is my favorite part for two reasons. A, reading the questions that I get, I have shielded you from the questionable ones, but they're always crazy, okay? If you follow me on Twitter, you know, so you better follow me on Twitter. And also, I love it because it gives you guys a chance to ask a question directly to someone you want to ask a question to, like Josh today.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure there's a lot of stoners out there that want to know all this stuff. Now, the first question I got, this one made me laugh, honestly. You're a very upbeat guy. You're a very, exciting guy. And this was the most liked question in the replies. And he just said, are you really like that all the time?
Not all the time. No, fuck. Of course I get really sad sometimes. Man.
Obviously. Everyone has emotions.
I just, here's the key thing. I want to be this way all the time.
Yes.
That's the most important. That's the best way I can answer it. Of course I'm not like that, dude. Things happen.
Yep.
Feds kick your door in.
Yeah, you can't
awful
be that
shit. This happened. So like when this umbrella came in, I told you earlier, I realized that I hadn't made the mouthpiece removable like it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And when I realized it was glued in, so it's going to be difficult to clean. You have to use this long pipe cleaner to clean it now. When I realized that had happened, I was so genuinely upset about it that I cried. Like there, I was like in front of my staff. And I'm fucking crying because I was like, no! Like after 3 years of making an umbrella, I couldn't make it right? Really? Yep. What the fuck is wrong with me? I should have checked it more. I should have fucking caught that they changed that one little speck that I'd given. And I didn't catch it. So yeah, there are things I break down, I'll cry, I'll have sad moments of all this stuff. My goal though is to get back to this. I tell myself things like, hey Josh, with everything you have going on in your life, with all the shit that's happening in a good way, if you can't be happy, then no one can, dude. So come on. You're right. And then I'll throw some Marcus Aurelius quote into myself, tell myself something, reminding myself how short life is or something like that. And it's like, fuck it, we got to get back there. I'll give you an example and where this mentality comes from. I wanted to, I realize there are times I'll be in New York and I'm having the greatest time with the fucking laughing with my friends, riding fucking electric bikes, jumping over fucking shit, sneaking onto a hidden spot on the Brooklyn Bridge to smoke out, having so much fucking fun. And then I'll realize, hey Josh, eventually, of course, something bad's gonna happen. Your tire's gonna pop, you're gonna go over the handlebars, you're gonna fuck yourself up. Such is life, dude. You're human. It's gonna happen. Something really, really fucked up is gonna happen. The question is, how are you gonna handle it when that happens? I want to believe, or I tell myself, that if I'm walking down the block in New York and some brick, because if a plane flies overhead, the building vibrates a little bit, brick, 20 stories up, vibrates loose. It falls down, 20 stories, hits me right here as I'm walking like this, on my arm, bam, knocks my arm clean fucking off. I lost my fucking arm. Oh my God, the blood. Should give her like one of those Quentin Tarantino movies. Ah, right? So it's like that. I end up in the hospital, and when I come to from the drugs and all that stuff, I want to believe that my first thought is going to be, okay, how long is it going to be till I'm really happy like that again? How long is it going to be till I'm back riding those beautiful energetic waves of the universe? How long till I'm surfing on that shit and fucking having the time of my life again? How long is it going to be? And then I'll start plotting out how long it'll be. Well, probably after I get past the pain point. Yeah, I got to get rid of the pain first. Then I got to fucking get over the loss of the arm because that's going to be ridiculous. What if I can get a bionic arm? What if I get something? I'll go down a path of something weird like that until eventually I'm, in a way, back there again and Josh is surfing those beautiful energetic waves of the universe. That's how I want to believe. But there are moments when I am, oh my God, in the toilet, you know what I mean? Fucking shit, eating shit. Oh, dude, it fucking sucks.
Shit's not happy today.
But I don't want to be there. I really don't.
Yep. You always try to be where you want to be.
Yeah.
It's effectively the way to answer that. So,
by the way, you know that shit. This is stuff that we've all learned. And you guys have probably learned it too. If you're sad and then you actually take, they said pencils or shit like this, and you force yourself to smile like that. If you force it, it actually starts releasing the endorphin as if you were smiling.
Fake it till you make it.
And then you're you're actually happy. So if you force the smile, you actually become happy.
Yeah, you just got to go like, yo, I'm happy actually.
Yeah, and force the smile.
Yeah,
so
really make it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept too. That's really crazy that you can literally do that. The human mind is fascinating.
We are really fascinating creatures.
I can just make myself happy. Like, all right, man.
It works though.
Legit, scientifically
And by the way, of
proven
course,
to work.
I believe it's scientifically proven to work, but if I'm wrong, dude, don't bother suing me. I'm telling you now, I'm probably wrong about everything I said. But yeah, no.
I don't have much to sue me for about my camera, so I'll say, yeah, it scientifically works. You know?
I read something. I read a few times that talked about how that fucking worked and explained how it worked even. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. And that's kind of the stuff that guides my life. These are fucking principles. Where it's like, wow, if that's true, which I hope it fucking is,
keeps you grounded.
It keeps you fucking happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, bad shit happens, dude. Like my daughter will get sick, weird, just sad shit. But I don't want to dwell in there. My grandmother would always say to me, you know what I mean? When you're when you smile, the whole world. Oh, when you laugh. When you laugh, the whole world laughs with you. When you smile, the whole world smiles with you. When you frown, Josh, you frown alone.
That's real.
I know.
That's
she was
real.
full of sayings like that.
No one wants to be with you when you're frowning.
No one wants to be with the sad.
No one wants to be around that shit. So the next question that I had, this is one that like was a general fan question that I saw a lot. You have a huge social media following, which is very unusual for the CEO of a company.
I know.
Most people don't really want to follow someone who's the CEO of a company.
I know.
How did you kind of become that social media star and like separate yourself?
It was completely accidental. For the first several years I was on Instagram, my profile literally said, "Don't follow me, you'll only get lost." So I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. You know what I mean? I was just me goofing off and having fun. But people actually dug it. And I was like, really? You want to see me do this stupid shit? All right, cool. Then I would show them, making a booklet or doing something that I thought, like, I figured they'd find it boring as fuck. But they loved it. So I kept showing them more and more. The first videos I did, early videos, I was doing videos on teaching the history of rolling paper, the legendary history of rolling paper. And I'm sitting there, you could see, and it's like 2010, and you could tell I'm actually annoyed. Like I'm not smiling most of the video, because I'm like, I can't believe I have to tell this whole fucking story. Oh my God, I gotta go back. This is gonna take me an hour.
Fuck.
And I gotta tell this whole story going back to in China, where they discovered paper, there was a Chinese-Arab war, and the Arabs, the legend is that they caught a bunch of Chinese people that knew how to make paper, and the Chinese said, if we teach you how to make paper, will you let us go? And yes, a deal was made. So the Arabs learned how to make paper. They brought it back to Constantinople, I think, and they became, the entire world down there became the first people making paper and books and things like that, I think. And then when they went into Spain, I'm sorry, I'll keep going. I'll stop.
No, keep going, please.
All right, so
please continue.
They would call them the Moors because they came from Morocco and that whole area. And when they came up into Spain, guess what they brought with them? Paper. The Moors were much more technologically advanced than the Europeans at that time, and really had incredible innovations. Incredible.
Cutting edge people.
Wow, yeah, they taught terracing and again, this is all stuff from best of my memory. They taught terracing in Spain, how to farm in places that they couldn't farm before. They brought so much with them, including paper. When they brought paper to Spain, then eventually paper spread from Spain to the rest of Europe. So I'm teaching all of this stuff, going further and further and further into details on the stuff for an hour of me talking about paper. And I'm like, does anyone really give a shit besides me? Does anyone actually care? And I would do the videos like that. But then I realized people actually cared. They actually wanted to hear more about it. I'm like,
interesting stuff.
I know, like, you guys actually want to know? You want to know why papers were white? I can tell you why papers are white, or why they were white all those years and they're not anymore. And you actually care? My God, how far can we go with this? And I kept going further with it and getting crazy. And I was like, then I had fun. Like, let me teach you how to roll a joint. Let me teach you another way to roll. Let me teach you the history of tips, the history of cones, the history of this, that, anything. Let me teach you something else. Oh my God, there's always another nuance. There's always some other thing. Let me teach you how to roll a tip that looks like a weed leaf. Let me teach you how to roll a spiral tip. Let me teach you how to roll a star. Let me teach you how to roll anything, crosses, cactuses. I'm having so much fucking fun, and people are having fun with me. And I just never thought it would get as far as it went, to the point where I was actually able to do a video on Coresta, which is the permeability of air through a paper. I didn't think anyone would ever give a shit about this stuff. Like, this is like boring, like nerd, fucking crazy paper.
It's all about how you present it.
And I think they wanted to know. I was like, okay, I'll teach you. I'd love to teach you.
I think how excited you are about it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too. I think part of why you have the following is because, like, for you don't, like, your social media presence is not trying to sell raw. Like, you're not trying to sell people a raw paper or raw product. You're never really telling people to go buy it. Half of your content doesn't even really have much to do with raw. It's just like you know. And it's also interesting because you kind of built this following in the opposite direction, where a lot of people, they'll build this following and then do the business side.
Yeah.
They'll be like, all right, now I have a customer base. I'll go do the business. You built the business and then the following. And that's like, you had to make people interested in you because Raw itself is not enough for people to follow you. I mean, they're CEOs of every huge company in every industry on earth, and they don't have, 10% of the followers that you have, So you got to make yourself interesting. I think that's a real talent that you have that keep killing it, bro.
I do. I got to tell you honestly, I really like people, right?
Yeah.
So I've come to understand that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to be on a desert island alone. That to me, that's hell. I like being in cities or urban environments just because I be around people. Where I live in Arizona, I'm basically urban, although I'm suburban because I live on 2 acres now on a cute little ranch. It's really cute with a horse and a donkey and shit. But I just really like interacting with humans. So if you love humans, by the way, before we go on a tangent here, when people tell me they love New York or New York City, I look them in the face and I tell them each time, that means you love people, dude. Do you realize that, right? No, I hate people. I don't love people. Like, what do you think New York has? What's the one thing it really has to offer? Well, it's got this. It's got people. It's an ugly place. We're in an ugly city. It's dirty. It's run down. It's dilapidated. It costs $1 zillion to fucking live there. People are kind of mean and grumpy. It's hard to get around. If you're there, the only thing we have in New York that's cool as fuck is a bunch of people, really cool, interesting people. Most interesting people you'll ever meet are right there in that city. So if you love New York City, bro, I gotta tell you, you love people.
I guess I love people. New York's a lot of fun, dude. I'm from Chicago too, so
Chicago's a great place.
Chicago's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
dude. I love both those cities.
Yeah.
I'm a city guy, It's like I've lived in the suburbs a lot. I've lived very rural as well. When I got kicked out of my mom's house for being a delinquent, I lived in very rural area, and very quickly I realized that was not for me. 'Cause the only thing to do was go to Walmart or the movies.
Yeah.
And it's just
no,
damn, it's not fun.
No, it's not fun. No, I like interacting. So being on social media, doing podcasts with you, all this stuff gives me a chance to interact with people.
Yep.
I also have a belief that I'm going to share with you because it might help you with your podcast a little bit to understand it. And again, just one belief among many. I believe that the only way that you and I actually ever live forever is with the ideas that we've injected into the public consciousness, into the Borg collective that is actually our humanity, right? So when you teach people something, when you share with them some concept, when you've uplifted them or put something new into the public consciousness and it sticks, that lives on forever.
That's your legacy.
That's all we really have are those things. So when you're doing social media and you're teaching people cool shit, you're teaching them when you're about to vomit, you sniff on this alcohol pad and supposedly it helps you. And teaching them all these tricks, raising your hands up in the air to stop coughing like this, because it fucking works for me, all right?
I've never heard that, actually.
Oh, it works so well for me and my friends.
Okay.
It works so well. Waka Flocka Flame taught me. Every time he coughs, he goes like that. And it worked. So I started doing it, and it fucking works because it opens up your chest for some reason.
So you just get that
changes whatever it is, the diaphragm or something like that.
Yeah, feel the openness actually right now.
The minute you start to cough, I just lift those arms up in the air, and if your friends are around, just laugh like you're stretching. Sometimes I've done that. I'm just stretching. So.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right,
Damn.
teaching people cool shit
like
that.
Like this.
That lives on forever. Teaching, earlier on when I was telling you stories of veganism and things like that. Let's say one person watching this becomes vegan because of that, or doesn't eat one, or kills one less animal because of that. What a beautiful fucking thing that was, man. One meal even.
Awesome.
Right, that fucking,
that's
Bambi
great.
gets to have one more day.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So the more that we do things like this, the more that we inject our ideas into the collective, and some of those ideas stick, the more you and I become immortal. And that's fucking awesome.
Damn. That's a really interesting way to think about it. Because, that is really all you have to leave behind once you die, I mean, obviously, you'll have friends and family that'll remember you for
They'll forget you.
But, for only so long,
Yeah,
and
they're
then
gone
their
too.
kids, they're not going to remember you. That's over with. But the stuff you leave behind and inject into society, that really is your legacy.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. So... Well, I guess, all right, you kind of answered the next question already, too.
Sorry.
The next question was from Rye. He was asking how you stay so positive, but I feel like that was kind of baked into a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about as well. So, Rye, I want to shout you out for that question either way. The next one we have from Keeping It SoCal, and he wants to know, Power Rangers or Pokemon?
Power Rangers, man. Come on, I'm sorry. I know I got a lot of friends with Pokemon, the cards, and the whole fucking thing. I get it. I was just dealing with a Pikachu person the other day. It's
You say it like they're a nuisance. Like
no, because they were
people,
so excited. They were so excited. And I was like, okay, But just Power Rangers is more fun. And then I can do cool things with rings and cool shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they do have the sick rings.
Yeah.
You got to send the Power Rangers some of those raw rings. Imagine an episode where they're taking rips off the double.
That'd be
ring.
cool, yeah.
That would be a sick. So, the next one from Ian Chapman. Do you like or play any video games?
Some Call of Duty. Some.
You play the new one?
No, not the new one. Eric and I play older versions, and we have a lot of fun.
What's your favorite Call of Duty? I'm a Call of Duty guy.
Really?
So I am, yeah.
What are you playing the new one, or what are you playing now?
I am, yeah. I started. My first one was Call of Duty 3 when I was a kid.
When you were a kid, how long ago was that, by the way?
06, 07.
Okay.
It was when I first started playing Call of Duty. And I was young, and my mom. I literally had to make my mom a presentation on why she should allow me to play Call of Duty. So
what did you do in the presentation?
It was like a PowerPoint, bro. Like the shit I would make for a school project. She was like,
Really?
okay, yeah, present to me why you should be allowed to play Call of Duty.
Did you show the skills you would learn, or what'd you do?
Well, yeah, I was like, well, listen, I have good grades, I have all A's, and in this game, you fight evil, you fight bad guys. So I've learned all about being a good guy and fighting for justice.
Really?
Yeah. I had to literally convince my mom to get me the game because I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games.
Okay.
But the way I pitched it to her was well, you're a soldier for the American Army, so it's just patriotic and stuff.
I guess it started there.
It's very far from that now. But at first, you were just like a soldier, and all of them were World War II games,
Wow.
So I had to do that. But I've been a COD guy my whole life. I've always played Call of Duty. I love that shit. So any COD game you talk about, I probably know.
We're done with this. I want to get your name so I can go with Eric, and we can try to fucking.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'll give you my username once we're done. We'll run it. But what's your favorite one?
I guess really 3 was fucking amazing. I like good guy, bad guy because of Poppy, my grandfather. He has a lot of medals from World War II and the stories he would tell me and all that stuff. So I like games where I can kind of envision being him.
Yep. Yeah, my grandpa had so many cool World War II stories. My grandpa was a pilot.
Yeah, my God.
He was doing some cool shit.
Like what?
I remember he used to show me he had a piece of his plane. Because at one point his plane, he had to eject, he got shot down, and he had a piece that had a bullet hole in it, framed, and he would always bring that down and show it. When he died, my uncle sold it all on eBay.
No!
Yeah, so it's gone. Someone has it. I hope someone's taking good care of it.
Oh my God.
But he had his uniform and stuff. He had his gun at one point. They literally, when they brought him back from Europe, they got off the boat.
The M1 gun. Yeah, my grandfather had it too for so many years.
All right, go home. And he literally, he had his gun in his closet. He had his full uniform, piece of his plane and everything, all his medals. He had a Purple Heart or something like that. Or not, no, he had a Bronze Star or something.
That's a really big deal. My grandfather had a Bronze Star too. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, he had some really important medal or some shit. All of it's gone now, unfortunately. But he would tell me the craziest stories that as a kid I couldn't comprehend. And he died when I was younger, so I can't pick his brain about it anymore. But I always think damn, that stuff, it's so fascinating to me.
My grandfather helped raise me, so his stories, he would tell me them
over and over. What was your grandfather in the military?
He was in the U.S. He was in the Army, Standard Army. He was what'd they call it? It wasn't really a translator, a scout translator, because he was Jewish and he spoke Yiddish, which is close to German. So once the people realized that he could understand German, they sent him in as a scout, and he had the special technique of creeping up on their positions and then yelling at them in Yiddish to surrender and warning them, I've got 100 guys behind you. There's no chance you're going to live. But I promise you, I'll bring you back. You'll be fine. You'll be well treated. We'll feed you this. We'll do this. He would tell them what you do. And they believe, the army believed, that because he was yelling at them in Yiddish, and these are Nazis, and he's yelling at them, you better fucking surrender, that their mind was trained for someone's going to come up here and yell at you in German to surrender. Come up there and yell at them in Yiddish, the Germans would be like, oh shit, we must be really fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the boss.
I know.
We're fucked.
This guy said, they were yelling at us in Yiddish to surrender, we know we're fucked. Yeah. And they would very often surrender to him. So he became their hero because there's this bunker up on the hill, we got to go fucking storm it. And he'd be Joe, go get it. Come on, Joe, get him. And he would creep and crawl and go up there. He'd go up there and convince them to surrender, being explaining to them the truth of there's no chance of you guys walking away from this. Even if we lose, the next people will come and they'll send aerial overhead. You're not going to live. But if you'll just surrender, we will be happy because we won't lose You'll kill many of us. You're all going to die. But this way, less of us will die. And you definitely won't die. And we'll take the best care of you we possibly can. But you got to surrender, man, because if we start fighting, you're all going to die. And you're going to kill many of my friends, too. But you're definitely not going to make it through this. And the people on the other side would usually surrender. And they'd march them down very gently. He would also make a point of keeping with them until they made it to whatever it's called, the higher-ups, to the back. He wouldn't just turn them over because he was scared that people would. Yeah. So he would always make a point of making sure they made it.
Yep. They got somewhere actually safe and they could properly,
be
go through the prison process or whatever it is. Damn, so that's interesting. Your grandpa, he went to war, but he actually, technically, when you think about it, he was saving people.
He saved a lot of lives. He has medals for being shot and that sort of thing. Even when he got hit in the head once, different pots. And he had shrapnel. He got really hurt. But the greatest thing about him was that, in this one, when it comes to the war, other things too, was the number of lives he saved on both fucking sides of that goddamn conflict. Yep. And imagine, he's Jewish saving Nazis.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
He's going and talking directly to these people who are
and he never held ill will.
His people.
And he's been through concentration camps. He never held ill will towards them. He would always do his best to really not let any of them get hurt.
Yep.
And that was fucking awesome.
Yep.
He would tell me conversations he'd have with some of the POWs. One time when one of them he'd caught some of them, they eventually surrendered, but they had done some horrible fucking things in concentration camp guys. And he was saying to them, what the fuck? Like, why did you fucking do this? And the guy looked at him in German and said to him, du bist ein Americans, you're an American soldier? I speak German too, but you're an American soldier? I am a German soldier. That was the guy's only answer. And he kept saying that to Poppy. Poppy was like, huh. Meaning like he's just following what he was told to do?
Yeah, he's just...
Poppy was like, okay. And just take him, just marched him back up the line, got him to his place.
It's so hard to do that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, oh, my God.
I know. That's why he's my hero. And I'm trying, as I sit there and tell this, I have to stop telling it honestly because I'm going to start crying. Because every time I think about that guy, I fucking cry. I really do. I love him so much.
Man, what a crazy time period, even in American history. I couldn't imagine being alive back then.
I know.
Like, wow, we're here now. And we just get to get high, like we're just smoking this fucking gas, and we got all these cool papers. And back then, they were like in the biggest war in the world history, like they were going crazy. And it's because of them that we're able to sit here and do this.
I know.
Thank God.
And now they just legalized weed in Germany. So yeah.
Yeah, look at that, a full circle moment. Yeah. Now we can smoke a joint about it.
So, by the way, we were talking about earlier about luck and stuff like that. I was lucky enough to have him as a role model, right?
Yep.
I had lots of bad role models, fucking awful ones,
Yep.
Mother was, oh my God, bad. But I had Poppy, and I had my grandmother, and I had Linda. Linda was amazing. I had these people that were able to make me happy. This thing of always being laughing and always smiling, back to that question you mentioned earlier, a lot of that is Linda. Oh my God, Linda was so positive.
And who was Linda?
Linda, when my mother tried to kill herself apparently in front of me, Linda took care of me for several years. She was from Trinidad, and she basically was like another mother to me. And I'm still part of the family, of her birth family as well. And there's many of us that are adopted members of the family essentially too. And we all still get together. We're all still very close. Linda passed away a few years ago. But Linda would laugh. I don't mean laugh like I laugh. I mean laugh. Something bad would happen, and she would start laughing. Because she would find the humor in some aspect of it, or something else. Even when my crazy mother would start screaming about something afterwards, I would make sure Linda was okay, and she would start laughing about it somehow. So she taught me that thing in here is planted.
You got that energy.
Yeah, I got that from Linda, and I love her so much.
Shout out to Linda, passing Josh that energy. that answers the first question that we had, too, spinning back to that. The guy who asked if you really like that all the time. Hey, it's thanks to Linda.
Linda Patrick. She's a beautiful person.
Man, yeah, wow, we really got into the World War II stuff there, though. It's so cool hearing all those stories, and it's so sad that we're now at a time period where, like, there's not many of those people left to share those stories.
Oh, yeah, they're mostly all gone.
Like, damn.
And because of that, we inevitably, as humans, are going to repeat it. That's what we do.
Yep. We got to pass them on now. You got to keep telling that story. I
can tell the stories, but in the end, people, we don't understand the dangers, not just of how awful war really is, but about what brought us there to begin with.
Yeah, the lesson's only going to last for like one, maybe two more generations, and then it's back to square one, unfortunately. But you know what? we were close enough to learn from them at least.
Yeah, you and I, luckily.
We were close enough at least. The generation below us,
they're in trouble.
yeah, we'll see how things play out for them. So the next question that we have on the list here of fan questions from Hat Trick Hash. He asked specifically about elements, but I guess maybe this could just cover most of your products. What should we look for to ensure our pack of elements is authentic?
Well, in another year or so, I'll have some individual scannable QR codes, and that'll solve most of the problem. But until then, what you want to do is take a paper like this, and you can see this gum line, just because of the way the humidity in here, is already a little bit curled.
Yep.
But actually, I'll grab a fresh sheet to make this easier. Smooth it out. By the way, fold lines on paper like that is one of the my nuances of what I try to reduce. I try to make it easier to reduce the to get rid of the fold line afterwards. But you want to take your lighter and put it underneath it and heat it up just enough to watch. You see it curling like that?
Yep.
All the way. That tells you that it's a real sheet of raw. The counterfeits that are made in China, they're using a chemical glue that I do not use here, and it doesn't curl. It's
so that's a surefire way to tell.
If surefire way.
Curl, it's not.
If
raw.
it's not curling, it's going to be a fake sheet of raw. It's like that's the easiest way. So, or a fake sheet of elements in this case. So just do the curl test. We call it the gum line curl test. I post about it on Instagram and all those things too. The funny thing is, I notice that whenever I post a video on how to tell if your cone is fake or your pack is fake, I have to post it during certain hours when it's the middle of the night in China.
Yep.
Because otherwise, it won't play it all, and they report the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I've had those taken down. I'm like, gee, I wonder who reported that. I wonder who got really mad about me.
Once the Chinese admin wakes up, you are done.
I'm done.
You are done.
So I'm like, okay,
no more.
It's 2:30 in the morning in China. Post it. Okay, whoosh. And we do. It's literally like that.
What time is it in China? 9 a.m.
Fuck, don't post it. They're awake. They're going to fucking fake report you, dude. They're going to try to get this thing not to play. They're making a living off of selling fake raws. They sure as fuck don't want people to know how to fucking tell. So, yeah, that's how to tell.
That's interesting. I've never heard that method. I've heard a lot online. People always say, like, oh, you can tell by looking at this part of the
Don't
paper.
do that. Don't do that.
That's the surefire way,
the
right
gum line
there.
curl test is the
gum
way.
line lighter test. So
Yeah.
everybody at home, elements, raws. Does that work for Juicy J's too?
Yeah.
All your papers?
Yeah, all my papers.
Nice. So all of the papers
Of the rolling
under
paper,
raw
if
family.
it's got a gum line and it's raw or elements or Juicy J's.
Yep.
Just run your lighter underneath it, not so much as to light the paper on fire, but enough to heat it up, and it should curl very quickly.
Yeah, and you could see. I mean, that curled like immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably can't see it from here actually.
I burned it a tiny bit, but otherwise,
It's very curled.
And the thing is, you didn't even waste the sheet. You can still lick it and stick it.
Yep. Still works. So you're not wasting any paper. Granted, I think there's enough papers that come in the pack where you guys should be good without one either way. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our little break. So the next question that I was going to get to, now that you've returned, is from Kilwo. And Kilwo wants to know if you always use a filter when you roll.
Always. It was what we were talking about earlier. Otherwise, I burn my lips.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, and I mean...
Oh, by the way, filter. Okay, by the way, this is a whole controversy.
Okay.
It's not really a filter. A filter, when we say filter in my industry, what it's supposed to mean is an acetate tow filter. That shit at the end of a Marlboro. That's because that is supposedly a filter.
So that's what the legal definition of a filter is.
I don't know about legal, but in industry definition.
Yeah, industry definition.
The general understanding, as far as Josh Kesselman understands it, blah, 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 is a filter is that. We call a tip is a tip. It's not really a filter because it doesn't really filter. Instead, it's more of a screen. But if I call it a screen, people go nuts. So I try to just call them tips, pre-roll tips and tips. But I know when you say filter, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But it's just, man, there's such a thing about this where like, oh, is it a filter? Does it filter? Oh God, here we go. But yeah, I always use a tip to get that shit away from my lips.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people, I think that person was wondering too, because part of their tweet was like, you're an old school smoker, and tips were not always.
No, I used to, really, it was clips.
Yeah.
And I tried to bring some clips back for fun, and people thought I was nuts. Like, they were like, why the fuck would you even use this for? I remember,
We're beyond this now.
I sent one to Wiz when we made lanyards with a clip at the end, like roach clip on the lanyard. And I saw Wiz, and he's sitting there showing, and I see him fucking with this roach clip, trying to put it on the end on a tip. And he's like, why the fuck would you? I'm like, oh, no. We used to actually have to clip the roach, dude. We weren't clipping the tip. We were clipping the roach. When I saw him doing that, I realized that people don't even know about roach clips anymore. Like we've gone so far into tipdom that people don't even know about roach clips, which is awesome. because I didn't like roach clips.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're deep into the tips because before you brought it up today, I don't even know what a roach clip is.
Yeah, see?
So, I
That's
have no
fucking
idea.
awesome.
So-
Before they were tips,
Uh-huh.
because I think that I was the first person to really sell tips in America.
Yep.
Right? I could be wrong, of course, but I think I was. And before, and I think I even have a patent for pre-rolled tips because it was one of my inventions. I'm pretty sure. Before we had that, we had the 70s had something called smoke stones, where it was literally like a stone that was like my ring. But instead of putting a tip in here, you put the whole joint at the end of the stone and use that so you to save yourself. And we had that or little clips to hold the little fucking thing. But no matter, inevitably you wasted or inevitably you sat there going with the lighter right by your face going, I think I still have scars, man. The 80s sucked, all right, dude? I don't care what the movies tell you. It fucking sucked. All right, sorry. Tangent.
Yeah, the weed, I mean, it's crazy how good the weed is right now. And
Did you ever have to deal with seed pops?
I mean, when I first started smoking a lot of the shit that I bought in high school, yeah, that was normal. We'd roll up a blunt and it's just like
pop,
snap, crackle, pop as the usual. Yeah.
Did you have the arm punching thing?
What? Whenever it would pop, you'd punch each other?
Yeah, because whoever rolled it was supposed to go through and get all the seeds out.
Nah, we didn't want to further the suffering. We're already having a bad smoke, and I mean, we were buying bags of shake that had
of course.
seeds. So it was none of my homies wanted to filter it because if we filtered all the seeds out, there wasn't enough to roll the blunt. So we had to keep
Smoke
it
the stem. Fuck it all.
Keep the stem too, dude. We need that.
Look, is that a worm? Fuck, leave it all in there. Leave it in there, man.
Come on,
It probably ate some THC. It probably has
Probably
THC in
some
its body
dirt.
still.
Nah,
Just eat
keep
it.
it there.
Just
Terps.
smoke it. Terps, bro. Earthworm terps.
Oh, man. So the next question that we have, and this is from Ain't Nobody Cool. He wanted to know who would win in a fight.
Okay, not many. I see this. Me or Nardwar.
You or
see
Nardwar.
Okay, now Nardwar is kind of a friend of mine. There's not many people that I believe I could actually beat in a fight. There's really not many, but I believe I could actually win against Nardwar.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. He likes to do this freeze thing, and I feel like we'd be fighting, and suddenly he'd go.
Oh, he'd freeze up?
He likes to do that.
And you just rock his shit.
Yeah, I just go able to take him out. Yeah.
You just knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, like sorry, Nard. I know he loves to do that freezing thing. I don't think he'd be able to resist. I think I could
And
probably.
you don't think the freeze could be a setup? Like when he freezes, he's anticipating you to go for a hit, and then he'd come in. You think he'd just freeze and then
He likes to do that. And he'll be in the middle of talking to him, like it's part of his routine.
kind of sadistic.
He just
wants
goes up.
you to get that hit in.
He freezes. Yeah, it'd be like. I think I could just make a joke. It'd be like all I have to go is do 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 do. He'd go. Fuck you, Nardwar. I got you.
Damn, the mental image of this fight. We got to get this on the card, man.
I'll ask him. I don't think he wants to do it.
We'll officiate it in here. I'll
Dupe
get
this,
a ref.
Nardwar. Dupe this, Nardwar.
Oh, man. Well, that's the end of the questions that we got from
Oh,
fans.
good.
And that's the end of everything I've got written for today.
Okay, so let's go through some stuff that I'd love to cover.
Yes,
It's not
please.
much stuff, but it's stuff like this because again, we have a chance here to inject
Oh,
into the public consciousness.
inject it.
All right, so if you're watching
it
this
up.
and you went through so far that you actually made it here to the end where we're still talking, I just want to share with you how important I truly believe it is for you to become successful. Why? Because the odds are, if you're watching him, that you're probably a good person. You're probably a stoner. You're probably more like us. You know what I mean?
We're some good people.
And there aren't enough of us. There's more of that dude in the suit. You know that guy? There's a lot of him. There's a lot of those dudes who, who are just not my friends. If you can just find some way to become successful in this industry or any industry, but preferably this one, because then we can have some more friends. If you can just build yourself up and just use some of these crazy shit that I've learned over the years, anything you picked up from this podcast or any other podcast, to elevate yourself with knowledge and understanding. If you're literally standing on the shoulders of giants, you're on top of us. You've got all this knowledge, and now you use it to build your business up and create something new and novel and uplift humanity with it. That is a beautiful fucking thing, not just for you, but for all of us. So I always try to encourage you to become an entrepreneur, to not sell hours of your life in a way that you are unhappy with. Sell them to yourself. Do things you really like doing. Find some passion thing you really give a shit about. I don't care if it's pens. Make the best pen that has ever existed in the history of penkind. Because by doing that, you uplift all of society and all of humanity. And I really am. I'm so fucking. I mean, we're so lucky to have people like you that do these podcasts.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it.
And your audience. Think about what your audience is like. These are some good fucking people.
There's some cool
you know
people
what I mean?
out there watching this. Right
I
now,
know.
for sure. There's some real cool motherfuckers.
And I just want them to live a life of freedom that actually
Chase your
helps
dreams,
humanity.
baby. Chase your dreams. Yeah, I love that message. That's really like, that's important for a lot of people to hear, because for me too, I think a lot about like, what would I be doing right now if I didn't take that risk when I was younger and like go for this, you know? When I was younger, I was working at the car dealership and I quit my job. I was making $300 a month off YouTube and I was making no money. I was fortunate enough to still be living with my mom. So I quit my job and I was like, this is the only window I have where I don't have to pay rent. So I quit my job, and then my mom threw me out of the house, and I was still making no money. And then I was really screwed. And I was like, damn, I moved into this shithole house with 2 roommates. We were subleasing it illegally. We got thrown out on Christmas Day. The real landlord showed up to the house on Christmas Day, realized that people were living there that weren't supposed to be, literally got a dumpster, and just started throwing all my shit away, right? Fuck. So at that point in my life, I was really down bad. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, man, like, maybe I should just go back to the car dealership. You know, it really crossed my mind. But I was like, I'm going to stick it out a little longer.
Oh, shit.
Because my mom still hasn't forgiven me yet, and I can't go back home anyways, so I don't have a choice. And I'm eternally grateful that I stuck it out, you know, because it sucked at first really bad, but the freedom that I have now is irreplaceable, you know, and it's something that, like, I get asked all the time, you know, and we talked about this earlier. I get asked all the time. It's like, Goblin, how did you get your podcast to this point? You probably get asked, Josh, how'd you get Raw to this point? And, you know, we believed and we all in it, you know? Yeah. You all in Raw, I all in the content, you know? And everyone out there watching can do the same thing with whatever they want to do, you know? You just have to decide when the time is right and really commit to that, you know? There's not like, you don't have to be born with a certain thing. You don't have to have a certain amount of money necessarily. You just have to fucking go for it, you know? And that's the beauty of the modern world, you know? And America. You can just go do that shit. So that's a great message, bro.
That's a great message you just shared with your audience, man. That's fucking beautiful. And like, because you're trying to inspire them to do it, to become free.
I want to see everyone win, you know? Because I see, it sucks for me too, being in the position I'm in. I see a lot of my friends, like from back home, who I grew up with, who are like in these jobs that fucking suck. And it's like, I just want to bring all my homies out here and like have them like behind the camera, like helping me and like on the team and shit. And it's like, fuck, they can't do that though. You know, like they can't just come out here. They have obligations now. So it ties into what we were saying earlier, where like, go for it whenever you can. For a lot of my homies, they're locked in now, dude. And they tell me all the time, I've had friends who I've grown up with for years. They've come to me and they're like, damn, dude, like I really straight up, like I'm jealous of what you're doing, you know? And I say to them, I'm like, I'm not lucky. Like I went for it, you know? And you can still do that. It's just going to be harder now that you waited a little bit, you know? It's never too late.
It's not too late.
Just fucking go for it. You
have to do it. What I grew up with was messages on the subway that always, for Lotto, which said you had to be in it to win it. And that was the same thing you're saying.
Yes.
That was planted in little baby Josh's fucking head. Was you have to be in it to win it. You have to take the chance. You got to do it. They call it burning the ships. Do you know about that?
No.
Like when the ancients would land at a new place to go conquer it, which was awful, fucking awful. But one of the things they would always do before a battle, whenever they would land somewhere, is they would literally burn their ships that they came on. And that way the soldiers and everyone knew there was no way back. There was no escape. They couldn't run back to the boats and sail home. You had to fight for your life now. And if you won, you conquer. You could build a new ship, take a year, and sail back. But you were done. You burned your ship. There's no path but forward. There's nowhere else to go. One direction, pal.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God, imagine being that soldier who just jumped off the ship.
And they burned the fucking ship. Yeah.
You're just like the frontline guy. You're like,
fuck. But that was the point, to make it where now you have no choice, man. Oh, shit, we can only go forward. I can't go back.
Yeah.
So you burn your ship sometimes. Sometimes it's the motivation that some of us need in order to make it where we have no choice but to go forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's also, you know, in a weird way, the world kind of manifests things for people that deserve it, you know, at least in my opinion. Like, I think people who truly want something and work hard towards it and apply themselves, it'll work out. Yeah. You know, like I have a hard time thinking of people who dedicated years and years to a craft that they were really passionate about, who didn't find success in it. You know, one way or another, you will.
Usually.
Usually.
It's the gambling thing. I think some kind of Vegas thing. If you roll the dice enough, eventually you hit a 7.
Yep.
It's you just have if you're there long enough, eventually luck and circumstance eventually they have to come together. The dice have to show it. Eventually, the odds say you're gonna hit the 7.
Yep.
Or an 11, whatever it is you're going to go for. It's just a matter of being in it long enough for that to happen.
Yep. Yeah. For me, I mean, dude, I started doing this like probably 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
Turning 26 soon. So yeah, I was like 12 or 13. So, yeah. Takes a long time, bro. Takes a long fucking time, dude.
And you're just at the beginning.
Yep. Just starting.
Imagine how fucking far you're going to go.
There's a lot I've got left. There's a lot you've got left. There's a lot all you guys watching have got left. We got a long way to go, motherfuckers.
We do. But for me, I'm further along in the journey.
Yes.
So I can only keep doing this for so long. So I'm always looking for people to come up behind me and continue it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get past a certain hump and suddenly you look at it a little differently where it's like, okay, now you start looking at legacy more now.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, oh shit, I got to make sure that I really teach, that I propagate the knowledge that it goes on when Josh is gone, which is inevitable. I wish it wasn't, man, but it is. And I recognize it. So I love being able to have the opportunity to talk with you, because in doing this that we just did, it allows me a chance to propagate it, push it forward.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully whole new wave of badass motherfucking stoners come up behind me
yeah.
and carry the lifestyle and the fucking awesomeness forward for another generation. Because I truly believe that stoners are the future. We are the ones who can save the world. Sure, there might not be the stoner culture when it's not legal, when it's now legal. People might not be all, you're not hiding in the corner smoking. But just the fact that there still will be people really enjoying the plant, that means we're opening our minds. That means we're connecting more, we're becoming more empathetic, and the world becomes inevitably a better motherfucking place.
Yeah. We just need a few more joints.
Yep, a lot more joints.
Yeah, a lot more joints, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great conversation today, man. We really hit some good topics. I think this went a lot further than just like what's up with Raw. You know? This was a great chat. I really enjoyed having you on the show and getting to know you. I feel like it's been a long time coming. We've kind of chatted over Instagram and stuff over the years, and I really appreciate you coming on, bro. For everyone watching at home, where's the best place to find you on social media?
As long as they don't delete my Instagram account, which is inevitable, like everything
yeah,
else.
They always do.
I'm Rock and Roll, RAWKANDROLL. On TikTok, it's Rock and Rolling. It's bit one way or another. It's some play off of that on all the social media channels. Same thing on Twitter, where they don't delete us, at least on Twitter.
Dude, Twitter is a mess right now.
It's
but
a mess.
The only good thing going for it is I won't get banned for posting my weed.
Right. That's the only good thing they got.
I got that. You know? I see all these weed people migrating over to Twitter, and I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I see them migrating, and I'm like, oh, man. Buckle up, boys. Like,
they don't know what they're in for.
Give it 2 weeks once the algorithm, adjusts to you, and your timeline's gonna be mental.
You got to be careful. Don't look at Twitter too much.
No.
I try to oh shit. I try to go in there and look how a post is doing, and I have to focus. Okay, Josh, focus.
Dude, it's
Focus.
crazy.
Look at how you're doing. Look away. They're going to try to show you something fucked up. Don't let them see it. Don't look at it.
I can't go on Twitter in public anymore. I was at the airport one time, and I went on Twitter, and it's literally back-to-back, video of some guy exploding. And I scroll down, and it's a bare-naked woman, cheeks spread.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, there's a family next to me.
Yeah.
I immediately close the app. I'm like, well, I'll check that when I get to my hotel.
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't know. I wish I had an airplane mode that literally was there's people around Twitter
dude,
button.
A safety mode. If they had a children's mode on Twitter, I'd probably enable it for my own well-being.
Not a safe for work mode. There we go.
Please.
Give me a safe for work mode.
Please.
Nice
dude.
and boop boop. There we go. Okay.
Something.
Now I can open this up in front of Coco. All right. Gosh.
Yeah.
Thank God. No, Coco. I'm not looking at that. I swear it's Twitter.
Oh man. Well, hopefully they fix that, and Twitter will become a much better place in a few years.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Or it'll be even worse.
I certainly hope. We'll see which way it goes. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your generosity, bringing all these gifts. By the way, I really do appreciate it. Everyone out there watching right now, go to your fucking smoke shop, get some raw papers.
Yes.
and roll that shit up.
Remember, every
or
rolling
stuff
paper
it. They have cones.
Every
too.
rolling paper is meant to be smoked.
That's right. That's right. So
you got a lot of
as you can
smoking to
see,
do.
Yeah, I got a lot of fucking. I got some homework today. My favorite kind of homework. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching the Gobcast, episode number 35. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also, I mean, I haven't said anything about it yet, but we're on Spotify now. For those of you guys who don't want to watch the YouTube video, or maybe you don't have premium. Well, I can't say that, bro. They're gonna take my ad revenue again.
No,
I
it's
personally,
great.
yeah, premium's awesome, man.
It's amazing. We all have
But
it.
for those of you who don't choose to have that, you can listen on Spotify completely free. Well, however much that costs, but I mean, probably less than premium. And you don't have to have the app open the whole time. So if you're driving your car, that's probably the way to go. Check us out on Spotify. Type in the Gobcast. Thank you all for watching. We have a membership button now, but if you hit join, you're just going to get scammed because I have no benefits set up yet. So thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one. Doses.